what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris live in Central Pennsylvania, Friday, February 14th, 2025. It's Valentine's Day for those of you who celebrate this day. Sort of a holiday, I guess. Welcome back to the program. Yeah, I'm about 2 minutes late on the start here. My apologies for that. Of course, once again, Streamlabs OBS crashed. There's something with this software. It acts like it has to upload all of the stuff I use every time I load. It should be there on my computer. It is, or it should be on the server and connecting. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm getting a little tired of it. And if they don't fix it, I'm not going to use this software. I'll switch to something else. It's just very frustrating. Welcome back to the program. That, of course, was Giselle with Burjol to start this program off. So the other reason I was a little bit late is I had to make a phone call. So this is what greeted me in my inbox as I was about to go live. And so for those of you who know, I ran last year for office, for political office here in Pennsylvania, for the state legislature. There you go. I ran last year for the 92nd District here in Pennsylvania. And I ran against four other opponents in what turned out to be a very dirty, crooked race. The Republican Party, very dishonest in their activities, local Republican Party. Three of the candidates were fine, upstanding people. One of the candidates did some dirty, underhanded stuff. Anyway, I lost the election. I'm not complaining about it, but I financed my campaign entirely out of my life savings. I paid for everything, and it was a lot. Ridiculous amount of money to get to office to try to make a difference. So I finished my campaign in April last year after losing the primary, and filed my after 30 days after the election date final report. I received a message a few months ago and it said that I need to file a report, and I contacted them. I said, "Well, I don't have a campaign anymore. I ended. I didn't run in November." And they said, "Oh, okay, you're fine." Then I received a phone call in January telling me that I hadn't filed my annual report. I'm like, annual report? I'm not a candidate. I closed it out. I'm not running anymore. Well, today I received a fine. I received a fine today, 2,000 or 3,000 Rand fine, $150, 3,000 Rand fine for not filing my annual campaign finance report. Right there's the letter. A fine for not filing an annual report when I'm not even a political candidate. People ask me if I'm going to run again. Why in the world would I run again when that's what I'm doing? I mean, I get hit with a $150 fine. I'm not even running. I closed my campaign out last year. They're saying, well, it doesn't say it's closed. I'm like, I got a screen capture telling me it's done. So your system, your internet system isn't working, and I have to pay a fine because of it. Wow. I mean, this is how dirty and crooked politics are. This is the state fining me because they're telling me I haven't filed a report, and I've talked to them on the phone twice. I've gone to the website. It's whatever. Oh gosh, it never ends. It never ends. It never ends. All right, so a couple of things. Let me address this very quickly here. Okay, so 423 people on a Friday. Awesome. Good to see you all here. Thank you. Just 109 likes. Okay. Come on, stop being freeloaders. 110.
That was easy.
Come on, just push that button, make it happen. Look, I'm sitting here with, I guess it looks like I'm a reading glasses guy the rest of my life now, because it seems like about half the time now I can't see clearly when I used to be fine. Yeah, so let me discuss a few things here very quickly here. There's been a surge of people coming to the channel recently, and we're very grateful, and bring more. We love the company. It's a lovely place here at the Wyatt Army, so thank you. However, there are a lot of people who demand, what's this? The hell's this now? What am I getting now? Oh, no, that's just nonsense. People demand attention. In the chat, if I don't comment, they get all bent out of shape and like, why only you get to talk? Well, yeah, it's my channel. I mean, if you want to talk, you can start a channel. They're free. YouTube doesn't charge you. You just have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed content in the last 12 months, and then you can go live. So yeah, I get to talk. So that's the first thing. Second thing is a lot of people are attention seeking. They'll post something repeatedly in the chat. If you do that, you're going to get blocked because it's a community. There's hundreds of people in the chat, and some people have things to say. Some people have questions to ask. Next thing is understand that I have a studio that I've built here myself. It's my sitting room turned into a studio. And I have a screen in front of me, about a 26-inch screen, and I have another screen over here, 24-inch screen. And on this one, that's my streaming software, which has the chat on the right-hand side. Well, it'll be this side over here. And then all the other things around here to run this, to turn video on, to turn browsers on, to turn Windows on, to do different things. on that side, I have my web browser. And in the web browser, thank you for subscribing, Roy. In my web browser, dang it, which with YouTube, it's been crashing a lot lately. Not just me, but everybody in the world is having trouble. Something YouTube is doing is causing people's tabs to crash in a browser. But my browser's over here, and I have the studio from YouTube, actual YouTube studio, which gives me some control over. I have control here to do things, and over there I have control to monitor things. Okay, so the chat window is open in that window, and it's faster, but it's over here. You see that's an oblique angle. So unless I turn my head and I'm looking over there, I don't see it. It's also at slightly greater distance, so I see it more clearly with my eyes going funny now. Okay, so I miss things. I also have to remember on every stream to push live chat instead of top chat, because if you push live chat, you get all the chat. If you push top chat, or if it's default by top chat, you can't change it. So understand that. And then understand this as well. By default, for some reason, it keeps changing back my timestamps, so I can't always see when you put it in here. My point I'm making here is, please don't be an ass in the chat. Ooh, me. Why aren't you talking to me? Why is he ignoring me? I only ignore a few people, and only those who are being jerks, and usually when I'm giving them a chance to hang themselves, put some rope around their own neck for being borderline bigoted or racist. And there's very few people I ignore in the chat. I challenge you to find somebody who devotes as much time of their broadcast to interacting with their audience as I do. Maybe you'll find someone out there, but I haven't found them. Anyway, so I find it incredibly disrespectful and rude for people to act like 6-year-old children demanding attention, acting and get pissed off because I didn't give them attention. And the same thing is going on now in WhatsApp and email addresses. I have multiple email addresses, and people think they're being clever by sending email addresses to every place that I said not to send an email to. You're not being clever. All you're doing is pissing me off, thinking you're so smart at finding addresses. If I didn't offer an email address to you, you shouldn't be writing to it. All right? I don't come knocking on your door and demanding your attention. Now, magnify that by about 5 or 10,000 people doing that to you. So what you do is you make it impossible for me to react to genuine questions and interact with people and conduct things. And also, by sending emails to addresses I didn't give you, you interfere with my personal business and my ability. In my main email account, I get over 1,500 emails per day. That now is over 2,500 by people sending me stuff that I didn't ask for and clogging my email box. And that doesn't even count the ones that my mail filter automatically sent to the spam folder. So I'm not asking you not to contact me. I'm just asking you to be considerate and contact me in the fashion that I asked you to. Simple as that. Okay? Simple as that. It's not too much to ask. It's not inconsiderate. It's not rude. It's not elitism. It's simply a function of how things can work. All right? So that's what I ask. Please don't be asshats and demand attention. Ooh, me. Okay? I think that's fair. Also, for those who come onto the chat and ask questions that have been asked and answered, I appreciate if you're new to the chat and don't know, and maybe you're only here because someone said, go watch this guy and ask him questions. He'll tell you he knows better than anyone else. That's actually kind of heartwarming that people would tell you to do that, and thank you for that. But the way I've traditionally done the news is I don't address the chat while I'm doing the news, but we've modified that a bit over time. And of late, people jump in there and they demand answers. Well, what about this? What, can I take my pets? What about my mother? She's 900 years old. Can I take her? Okay, I'm not talking about that at this moment. I'm talking about the news, or I'm talking about this. I appreciate the interest, but again, I have made videos, unlike the American Embassy, unlike the United States government, unlike any news media outlet in South Africa, unlike any other person on the planet. I've taken the time at 2 o'clock in the morning to sit around for 3 or 4 hours and come up with a video that answers most of the questions with the available information. And even without the available information, it answers. I pretty much guarantee that my answer is going to be correct once they give guidance. Because if I didn't have an answer and it was clear that it could be something else, I was clear about that. So I asked people to go watch the videos. In fact, I'm really angry at YouTube, and this is going to sound odd, moaning about a video that only has 65,000 views, but that's a video that ought to have 250,000 views. And if it did, and so that takes me on my next step. When you go one of my videos, that's probably not applicable to anybody here in this live stream, 555 people. That's a cool number, 555. I like that. It's probably not applicable to anybody here because you're here and you're listening, you're participating. But it is beyond hysterical to go to a video in which I don't address a topic or I don't make a claim based on the title and based on my skin pigmentation. White and black people start posting comments about the video, and there's nothing to do with the video. It's too funny. It's too funny. It's kind of sad though, but it just shows, it's so obvious. People are like, no, I didn't say that. What about the one that gets me the most is the 14 frequently asked questions about the refugee resettlement program. And several times someone posted a comment on there and they asked the very first question I addressed. It was in the first minute. I mean, it was like 40 seconds into it. I explained, I'm doing this for this reason. And then, all right, here are the questions. Maybe it was a minute in. And I answered. And then they write it down. Good Lord. Go. It's in the video. Watch the video. That is beyond rude. So you want me to stop my day, to sit down, to answer your comment because you were too lazy to even watch a minute of the video. Anyway. All right. So... all right, let's get back to who's in the chat here. All right, let's say hello to everybody here. All right, so Tony's here from Alberta. Allison Johnson's back. Stephen Faree, U.S. Immigration Office, will you be my Valentine's? Now, see, that's a fair question. Dion Sella says, I'm impressed. What are you impressed about, Dion? What are you impressed about? If I'm not going to America, no vuvuzelas. We're blocking those at the port. Yeah, see, if you come to America, either as a tourist or under the refugee resettlement program, you will not be allowed to bring a EFF friend or a vuvuzela. Alan Coates is back. Welcome, Alan. Chris Ehlers, Alma Fundemava. Eric is here. Eric, one of the OGs, original gangsters. Gideon Maloney, Fred Barrage, Tim Martins, Lee Ann Prentice. That's a cool last name, Prentice. Jean Tell, welcome to you. Louisa Rautenbach and Gladiator's Den. I missed your membership. My apologies, because I think it was before we started. Why the fear-mongering? Such speculation serves no good. Are you asking me, or are you talking about what's going on? I'm not fear-mongering. I'm trying to stop the fear-mongering. In fact, there's a lot of that. This morning, Ronaldo invited me to go on his broadcast, but I didn't go to bed until 4:40, and it was at 5:30 my time. By the way, folks, I haven't been seeking memberships, but I'm glad people are becoming members, so I'm going to have to start doing more for members, especially for those who've been there for a long time. Probably going to have a members call-in session next week, and then I'll get lots of moaning. Well, how come only members can call in? Well, I mean, they're forking over money to support the channel, which is helpful. So, I mean, you ought to get something for it, don't you think? Some people actually begrudge that. That's not fair. Why do members get that? Are you serious? I actually saw someone say they're unsubscribing from my channel because I mentioned that I might do a members-only stream. It's insane. People, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so... Amia's back. Okay, let's see what Amia's got to say now. Amia has a worldview that is Amia's world. Ima's. It's Ima's worldview, and you're not going to change Ima's view. So let's see what Ima wants to tell us today. Why would people flee to a country that's gutted Social Security for its own people who want to live in a country where homelessness is outlawed in most states? Okay, first off, Alma, strike one. You can come in here and you can express your opinion, but you can't come in here and blatantly lie and race hustle. And that's what you're doing here. Why would a country flee to a country that guts Social Security? What the fuck are you talking about? Who gutted Social Security? Are you a mindless twit? We spend more on Social Security than the rest of the world. You don't know what you're talking about. Get out of your ass hattery and behave. If you want to participate in the chat, then do so. If you got a question, you got something to disagree, do it. But don't come here and just make shit up. Because you're gonna get a PK. More of the PK. None of the nonsense. All right. Homelessness is outlawed. Well, homelessness should be outlawed. People shouldn't be allowed to live on the streets like animals. But it's not outlawed. So what states? Most states. What are those states? Empty nonsense. Strike one, Ama. Or Amia, whatever your name is there. For sheer. Another troll. Chris was a very cool entrance. Thank you for that. Howdy, folks. By the way, my software crashed, so a lot of stuff, if you have epilepsy, my apologies, but things are going to do this, like video and things when I pop on the screen the first time, because it's a Streamlabs thing, and usually I can fix it, but I couldn't this time. So my option was to fix it or keep going. Well, thank you for your membership there, Jeska Zelotz. Is that what it is? Jeska Zelotz, okay. There's Hendo with the chat group there. Can see America winning the Rugby World Cup. Okay. Thank you for the super chat there, Kevin Long, 35 Rand. Wow, you got us started with some super chat. That's nice. Salute. Thanks for the vids and all your expertise, says Bruce. You're very welcome. Tractor Champ, cool name. Welcome to you. CC. Hello, Amal. Okay. Armageddon. Oh, boy, what's all the members? Oh, these are from last night. John Jarvis became... Oh, John Jarvis been here forever. Hey, John. By the way, we got more emojis because we have 300 members, 300 paying members to the channel now. Wow, we've never even been close to that. We had 200 something at the peak on the other channel, and we've been under 200 forever, and suddenly went from 147 to 300 members, and John was one of those. He renewed, and it's just coming up now. So it's not notifying even you're not getting a reminder? Okay. Dion, welcome to you. Christian Petersegg, hello to you. What else? Hendo. Sorry, I got this pinched freaking muscle up here still. Okay. Linwood Varsity Bakery. What about that? Okay. All right. Dion Sella saying hello. There's Charles Van Alson, the voice of reason. Greetings. My wife is carrying on much better with Giselle's Saki music. Well, it was either that or it was Kurt Darren with Kalfoot Soki. The problem with Kurt Darren's, I'll get a copyright claim or a strike, so I can't play it. Eric has to reload on her phone because it's acting up. And Charmaine Oosthuizen, hello to you. Leilu, welcome back. At least you tried. Yeah, no, yeah, Garrett, I'm not complaining about trying. It's just that I'm being annoyed by, you didn't file this report, now you're going to be fined. I did. Quit harassing me. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not even in the race. Why am I dealing with this stuff? And Debbie Fox, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for the super chat. By the way, folks, once again, I'm going to say this very clearly because a lot of people watch my program are not people of means. I don't have many billionaires watching this program. Apparently none, but welcome. If you do not have money or you're on a tight budget or a fixed income, I do humbly appreciate your super chats and membership. But I ask that if you don't take money that you need to meet your needs to help finance what I'm doing. Not that I don't need the money. I mean, but I'm just saying, I have been wise with my money over the years, and I'm not starving. I'm not a wealthy man, but I'm not starving. So I discourage people who don't have money from super chatting. I do appreciate it. This is one reason why I try to address as much as I can in the chat, because some people feel that they have to super chat to get my attention, and I appreciate that. Rudy Deploy just gave a 40 Rand super chat, super sticker. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm not turning any super chats down. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that I don't like for people to put themselves in a bind. Okay, just saying that. So now watch, there'll be no more super chats. One thing that's making a huge difference right now on this channel is that so many people are watching the videos that by default ads are being watched, or at least enough of ads are being watched that it's accruing money. And I'm not making money, but making a lot more than I was for the past few years, just in the past few weeks. So anyway, and that's just from viewership. So that's what you can do for me. Watch the stuff, and if you have the time, you can watch the adverts too. But anyway, that's on you. I know that can be annoying, that's for sure. Joan Devinaga, welcome to you. Troy goes back. Albert Vesels, welcome to Albert Vesels. There's a car dealership just down the road from me named Vesels. Yep. MB sounds like some banks here. Yeah. Les Van Ice, thanks for all the great content. There's another member. Charlene 360, thank you for that. Tanios, welcome to you. Sounds very sort of Greek. Gazuzi, okay. Welcome. And wow, what's all the members all of a sudden? Okay, and shout out to the people that hit the like button. Yeah, please do it. Okay, Fouché Herbst, cool name, Fouché Herbst. Okay, thank you, Sham. That's ridiculous getting a fine. Yes, I will contest it, but I mean, it wastes my time. I mean, at some point, your time is worth more than the fines. That's why they do it. Boy, the memberships just keep coming. This is crazy. Did somebody pass the word? They'll become members. Marshall Taylor, happy Valentine's Day to Julia. Oh, Marshall, that's so sweet. Well, Julia, happy Valentine's Day to you from Marshall. Another super chat. Biltong. Well, actually, Dion, that would be fake news. We already have biltong. We have South Africans in America who already make biltong, but I haven't found any that make particularly good biltong. I found 3 or 4 producers, and I didn't like any of them. Murray McGregor's back. Thanks for your facts analysis. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Look into NVIDIA generative AI text to video. It will help you cut down the video editing time. It's pretty good. Okay, let me just look that up, okay, before I forget. So, NVIDIA. Another member, sorry. If I missed a membership there, my apologies. NVIDIA generative AI text to video Okay. Humanizing the way we interact with machines. Okay, well, that's a video, not anything there. So there's another super chat. Wow. Every time I join your stream, the clock in the back says 1111. That's an angel number. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Charmaine. Interesting. No, thank you. Inkwell Odyssey. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Diane Humple's back. Get yourself an infrared light for vision. Okay. I take it that's a serious recommendation. Freelance Kate's back. Wade G, good evening to you. Marissa Besselar. Valentine's, yep. Okay, Low IQ is back. Oh, come on, man. We don't want any ANC caters in here. M's got treated very well. Congratulations. Bobby B, I hope you don't ever feel pressure to respond to me. Most of the time, I'm just cracking jokes. It's fine, Bobby B. I do my best. Rudy says, that's so true. Others don't talk to us like you do. Okay. Fine. What the? No seatbelt? Streetwise. One streetwise, no license. One family fees, drunk driving. Oh, my goodness. It's impossible to talk to 500 plus people. Exactly, Inkwell. But some people think you're ignoring them. You know, they demand your attention. And, you know, and then I mean, this is the one that's the most hilarious. I mean, I get an unsolicited WhatsApp from someone I don't know. It's just a phone number. They don't bother to tell me who they are. It isn't in their profile. It's just a phone number. And they start writing to me. Like, Chris, what about this? What about this? What this? And I'm live broadcasting at that moment. This happened yesterday, the day before. And I don't see that because I'm broadcasting like this right now. There's another super chat. Well, the super chats are coming in. Thank you very much for them. So then I go back a little bit later on. I'm looking for something else, like trying to see if Ronaldo, if we're going to talk, or if someone's coming to the program. And I check while I'm broadcasting. And I see this message and I look at it. And then I find 5 messages from the person. And they're like, okay, hey, and they're very friendly. Look, I've got this. I can tell you about this. I'm a whistleblower, or I know about this, or do you know about this story? And thank you for the information. But then, like 2 minutes later, another message, then a voicemail, then another message, then another message, and then after about 4 or 5 messages, oh, so you don't respond? Oh, okay, that's kind of rude. I'm the one who's rude. I didn't call you. I didn't, and that's the other thing. I'm live broadcasting, people calling me. Where is the etiquette in life? I mean, honestly, I don't know where the etiquette in life went from, where people just take these positions. It's humans. We are strange creatures, to say the very least. Strange creatures. Yeah, anyway, so I don't mind talking to people I don't know and meeting people I don't know. That's one of the spices of life. It's lovely. But it's really silly for people to get rude and disrespectful and act as if I'm blowing them off. I mean, so Nick Groves and Anna Marie Nell send me lots of things, and Nick sends me personal messages. Erica does the same. Hendo and I just kind of do business all the time. We just send each other jokes now and then, but for the most part, we're just passing stuff back and forth that facilitates the broadcast. Erica sends me a message sometimes. Anne-Marie Nell tries to keep me updated, especially with news, but sends personal messages every now and then. And she's also very helpful in ways. And then Nick does the same thing. Nick is just sharing his thoughts with me a lot. I rarely respond to most of those messages, but they know that I read them when I get to them. And none of them take offense if I don't, if I disappear for a couple of days, someone might say, hey, you okay? We haven't heard from you. But no, anyway. Robert Peschel, enjoy your broadcast. You're from George. Oh, I like George. George is nice. Got cool coffee shop out by the airport, owned by the singer. I was supposed to interview him. Yeah, that got messed up. Anyway, Chris ignores me because the State Department's reserved the left side of his... Ideologue. I'm a SAF. I live in the UK. I would love to see UK under an ex-reform government. The UK inviting South Africans to migrate. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, the Reform Party, the way that it's first past the post in the UK, which I'm not complaining about, but the way that system is set up, it undermined an opportunity for anyone but Labour Party to win this thing. Yeah, the Tory party is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. I'm sure at this very moment, every 5 minutes, Maggie Thatcher is rolling over in her grave at what the Tory party's become. It's a leftist, pseudo-leftist party, and it's destroying the UK. It's a shame. Janissa Lawrence, daughter of Jesus, welcome to you. All right, who else we got here? Mickey is back. Mickey. All right, Mickey. This is a dacha free zone. No daga, no dacha. No weed tonight, buddy. I'm sorry. By the way, I called ahead to Governor Paulus of Colorado, and Mickey, he said you were a little too enthusiastic about the marijuana. So he suggested that you live in California instead. I'm just saying. So Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado, talked to me this morning. Told him all about Mickey and how he wants to go to Colorado, open his own weed shop. Anyway, just saying. There's another super chat. Magus Michael Brunstolf. Okay. Boy. Okay. Bry question. Lamb chops. Ugh. I don't eat mutton. Ugh. Lamb is not for me, man. That's for sheep shaggers, Welsh, Kiwis, South Africans, no, Australians. I don't eat that. Nope. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Okay. Sent you like 6 or 7 emails. Thought they might have some relevance. It's fine, Armageddon. No problem if it's sending me emails. Just be understanding that if I don't get to them. And bear in mind that personal emails from people aren't the only thing I get. I mean, like, for instance, the reason my main account I get 1,500 emails per day is because I subscribe to multiple news services and multiple websites to get as much news as broad and diverse a selection of news. Unfortunately, most of it's left of center, but I mean, that's where most media is. That's that. Plus my personal mail. So don't worry about it. Don't apologize. The only thing I ask is people just don't be demanding. Mickey, I am being censored on X. I've been censored on X since I created the program because I was an Army officer and it was run by Jack Dorsey and his Mary-bounded leftist hate wankers. Yeah, no, people can't find me on X. Unless, Mickey, be clear, what are you trying to find? How are you trying to tag me? My username is WMW Chris. It's not Chris Wyatt, so WMW Chris. So, but I've been hidden on Twitter forever. That's why I never worried about how many people follow me on there because, but we're over 3,000 now, so that's impressive for me. I've only had the account for 20 years. Yes, Stefan Free. Some people are just going to be stupid. Merle's back. Welcome to you. Alison Johnson. There's Alison. Okay. Johannes van de Meve. Yanni from Pretoria North. Once I am out of retirement, will become lifelong member and stacks of super chats. Following since the early days. Well, thank you, Johannes. I appreciate that. Really do. So can refugees work in the USA? Asked and answered. It's in the video. 14 frequently asked questions. But I'll answer it. I'll answer it here. Of course, not only can you work, we expect you to get off your ass and go work. We don't want freeloaders. This isn't a freeloaders offer. If you're capable of working in the refugee program, not only are you allowed to work, you're expected to go work. So there you go. Not that you're going to be a freeloader, but I'm just saying, yeah, it's unlike the asylum. That's the problem with all these people in South Africa. Well, if you're going to America on asylum, well, this isn't about asylum. It has nothing to do with that. You can't come to America for asylum. You have to be in America to declare asylum. Okay, steaks. Yeah, tractor steaks are fine. Okay, burgers, steaks. Okay. All right. Okay, Colonel, I have 6 screens open in front of me with multiple channels open and pushing your channel across multiple channels. Well, thank you, Mar. That's awesome. That's very kind of you. And that's fueling growth here. Thanks, folks. It seems like a tsunami, and it is a tsunami compared to where it was. But frankly, with what's going on and all the other people spreading disinformation, misinformation, and nobody has come in here once. Nobody's come in here once and successfully refuted anything I've said. Now, I'm not boasting. I'm just saying that. So given that situation, given the interest in this for people who don't want South Africans to leave, who want to leave, we should be seeing numbers well north of what we got. We're not. That's fine. I appreciate everyone who finds the content and those who like it and those who stay and those who subscribe. And now, I never push for memberships, but now those are becoming members. Really, really appreciate that. And super chats too. But the best thing people can do for me is watch the content. And then interact, the chat, jump into chat occasionally. You don't have to, but put a like for sure. All that interaction drives the algorithm to get more people to come here. Thank you for your membership. Karin Janssen von Rensburg, welcome to you. Tom Smith is here. Adele Vissa, Morsh Sneyman. We want to work to rebuild our lives. The Hutful Bikers. Oh, that's a subscription. Handbook of Humanity, okay. Chantel is back. Donnie DeVette, when given an opportunity, take it. X is just porn bots. No, it's not. The thing, nice, I'm sorry, I keep pronouncing your name wrong, and that's not intentionally. I'm not trying to butcher your name. I think it's pronounced Ima Tun Foshir, which is odd. Tun is a German name. Ima must be something Afrikaans made up name, or it's from some Arabic thing. I don't know. And Foshir could be anything. So I can't figure that one out. That could be Indian. It could be Middle Eastern. It could be European. Who knows? It could be Hungarian. But no, I'm not butchering your name intentionally, but I'm recognizing that probably not getting it right. No, X is not just a bunch of porn bots. Yeah, there are plenty of those there. But X used to be the domain of evil leftists who abused people who disagreed with them. And they encouraged that, and they allowed it. And that's one reason why I was shadow banned and hidden on X for a long time, because I spoke the truth, and the left can't handle the truth. Not opinion, facts. I report a fact. GDP this year grew by 6. No, that's not right winger. Right wing. It's just GDP. Anyway, so when Elon Musk bought it and claimed it was free speech, which isn't true, it's not free speech. It's still a lot going on there that's not right. It drew a lot of people from the other side of the political spectrum. So now it's an equal opportunity hate zone. That's what X is. X is an equal opportunity hate zone. It's exactly what it is. Leftist hate wankers attack everybody, and right-wing hate wankers attack people too. And those of us who are rational, cogent, lucid human beings are stuck in the middle and get abused from all sides. So I think it's that must be. I think it's, that's what it really is. My wife don't want to leave. By the way, you don't get a strike. That's a legitimate comment. No strike on that one, Ima. Adopt a maid. Nope, you're not bringing your maids with you. Nope. No domestics. You want a domestic? Stay in South Africa. Wife don't want to leave right now. Can I come over and get everything sorted before my kids come? You can do that, Stefan, but you run a risk. You apply for asylum just for yourself. The way the asylum law works in America is you have 24 months if you're here under asylum status, 24 months to apply to bring family members over. If you don't do it in that time frame, then they're on their own. There's no guarantee they'll ever be here. So, but again, this program isn't established. That's just the law, the existing law. The law can be, policies can be put in place that adjust that. So, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Chinese goods are being scarily of higher quality. A 10% tariff. Chinese goods are higher quality than American goods? Okay. Since you made me laugh, no strike, even though you're trolling. The 10% tariff is not to stop Americans from buying Chinese goods. The 10% tariff is to make the Chinese producers pay the tariff. What do you think about doing an interview with Steve Hofmeyer? Well, Pietke, Decont, I've done an interview with Steve Hofmeyer. Obviously, you don't know my channel. You're new to it, and you're not looking at my content. Do a search on my channel, and you'll find that I've interviewed Steve Hofmeyer. Did a 2-hour interview with Steve Hofmeyer. Steve is not apparently interested in doing another interview. He's not doing them now. He's got his own YouTube channel now. I've asked Steve at least once a year to come on the program, and I see him every year, so in person. Heidi Robert says, I work for a company that branches the U.S., so can get transfer to the U.S. It's good for me. If Heidi Roberts say, if you come to America on a work visa, you will not be able to apply for refugee status. You have to be abroad. You can't be here. You can't have a visa to come to the country and apply for refugee status. It doesn't work that way. So decide what you're going to do. Brandon Biochucky, hi, Mr. Chris. I would love to know how I can apply for the program. I want to leave South Africa. Brandon, you can't apply for the program. People are telling people to go fill out a form for the U.S. Customs Immigration Service. You can fill out the form, but you don't know that form is going to be applicable. And you can send it off, but it's not going to go anywhere. The American Embassy, once again today, has produced no information about this program. The State Department has told nobody about it. We're now a full week after the president. We're just 5 hours away from the actual time 6 hours away from the time he announced he was doing this, issuing the executive order. And we have no guidance. So until we have guidance, it's a waste of time. The best someone can do is become informed about what's going on, be fully informed. First off, it's not for farmers. Second off, it's not just for farmers. Third, it's for an undefined class of people listed in the executive orders, Afrikaners, yet to be defined. Later, modified to say ethnic minorities, which is what I said would probably be all along. So we don't know. You have to wait and see. And that's sorry about that, but that's the truth. Anyone telling you something different doesn't know what they're talking about. I've been disputing stuff all along. There you go. Armageddon shared what the answer is. Sorry, I'm itching there. Very mixed. White Muslim is what I tell people, but it's more complex. I got you, Ima. Okay. Yeah. So, colored? You're whatever you want to define yourself as, Ima. That's cool. One of my favorite musicians, she's clearly mixed too. Let me see if I can get her real quick. I'd love doing an interview, but I've had no success. I haven't tried in a while. So, brain cramp. There you go. Yeah, here we go. Let me just give you a couple seconds. We won't get a copyright strike here. Why is it not coming up? There we go. Hang on a second. That's not the right one. Hang on a second. Here we go. Anybody know who that is? Anybody know who that is? Oh, this is one of my favorite songs. It's Valentine's Day, so maybe not the best song for Valentine's Day. It's not a love song, but Vier Woorden, yeah. Taryn Lamb on the Bridge to Nowhere in the mother city of Cape Town. Waar is jij nou? Yeah, well, I'm right here. Ek is here. Ek is here. Waar is jij nou? Ek is here. And I never dated Taryn, so, I mean, I can't really answer the question for her. That's her boyfriend she's checking out on, not me. Anyway, Taryn Lamb, yeah, she's very mixed, too. And I believe she's got some Muslim origin to her as well. Yeah. I can work remote. Okay. Chris, you see, we are very much afraid that we'll have to sit and do nothing. The true Afrikaans need to work. Gotcha. Sedgefield's back from the garden route. How you doing there, Sedgefield? Okay. Could Afrikaners join the U.S. military as a refugee? Anybody can join the U.S. military, including foreign nationals living abroad, as long as they meet the standards and take an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Yep. We have thousands of foreign nationals currently serving the U.S. military. Okay. I'm skipping over some stuff. Feener's back. When will the cost of living improve in America? Feener, probably never. We're stuck with price inflation. Unless we go through a deflationary period, which is as bad as inflation, prices aren't going to come down. The dollar's worth less, the pound's worth less, the rand's worth less. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people in Springfield. We're not going back. Joe Biden destroyed the world, and we're not recovering. So we have to live with the misery of having less disposable income, courtesy of Joe Biden and the leftists destroying the world. What we can do, though, is get things under control, and some things, because prices do come down. So, for instance, microprocessors become cheaper because a new one's developed that's faster and accomplishes more tasks. So it has a premium price. The previous generation, the price gets lower, so they sell them. It goes down. PCs become cheaper. I mean, a top-end laptop today you can get for $1,200. That's a super laptop. The capability of that super laptop would have cost you $5,000 or $6,000 10 years ago to get the same capability. You could get it, but you'd have to pay a fortune. And so it gets cheaper. So some things become cheaper over time. But generally speaking, prices are not going to come down, and you don't really want them to come down. I mean, I love the prices to be back where they were, but if we went through a deflationary period right now, it would be very devastating economically. So if you have lower revenue for companies, that means they have less money, which means they go into debt to produce what they're doing, or they lower wages. When they lower wages, they say, you see where this goes? So, Feener, the cost of living can improve in America. It's not going to improve. It's not going to improve in South Africa. And every time people get raises, that doesn't help. So, minimum wage, raise it to $15. Okay, well, now the burger was $2, just became $5. Why did it become $5? Well, do you think that the restaurant owner can afford to pay twice as much in salary and get no more money? Worked in U.S. in 97 for Navy, Mom. Will youngsters be able to join? My son wants to join. Join what? The military? Yeah, I just answered that question, but thank you for the super chat, Loretta. I'm not sure what your question is. You mean join if you come along? I work in the oil and gas industry. Most of our qualifications are not accepted in the U.S., so you'll have to redo it. Yes, correct, Alan, and I've been telling people that all along. Yep, most fields you have to do that. Can I still work legally in America if I'm older than 70? Sure, you can work. You can work. The corkscrew. We're not a socialist, fascist European country that tells you can't work. Although, a lot of places don't want people to do it, but it's not illegal to work. My neighbor is 86. He still works. Yep. Hope interesting. Can you go through the 120 race-based laws sometimes? No. I'm not going to do that, Adron Swan. It's just depressing. It's not going to accomplish anything, and it's 142. Willem Petzer did that the other night, and he put me to sleep. He had a video he put out, and it's like 50 minutes long. So there's a member, Mr. Puffy. And I started watching it, and then I'm like, so I started editing my videos here, because he was talking, he's like, the binding laws, the entry into broadcasting law of 19. I was, oh my gosh, no, that there's no value in that, folks. Just go read them for yourself. All right, jumping ahead a little bit more here. Mr. Puffbay, welcome to you. Talking about prices, I'm amazed how affordable used cars are. Where, here? Affordable? Not affordable. What can you do in South Africa that you can't do or wouldn't do in America? Bribe police, Nikki. Bribe police. Can't do that in America. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you do in South Africa you can't get away with here. Okay? All right. Willem will deliver the same to the embassy tomorrow. Yes, Joe, I'm aware of that. For those paying attention, I'll be broadcasting that. That will be midnight my time tonight, 7 a.m. South Africa tomorrow. I'll be covering it from here. Oh, we've just gone over 42,000 subscribers. Thank you for that, folks. Appreciate that. Pushing towards that 50,000 mark. It seems plausible now. Seems plausible. All right, so, yep. Bend over. Why are you bending over? Okay. We really don't want to hear about South Africa. We're here for USA. Well, then you should watch my US channel at Real Chris Wyatt. Okay. US, it's buyer beware. Yes, we do have a better business spirit. Did somebody ask the question? Thank you for answering it, Beth. Ronell, what's the word? How you doing there, Ronell? Neville Purdon's here. And Peter LaGrange, what's the chances Trump shuts this program down? You're just asking for mere speculation, pure speculation. How would I even have any basis whatsoever even to comment on that? As I've said, these programs can be shut down anytime. In fact, the program you're all asking about doesn't exist. As I've said many, many times, on January 20th of 2025, when President Trump was sworn in, he signed a host of executive orders, one of which was the suspension of the refugee resettlement program. My phone is blowing up over here. Trump suspended the refugee program that many of you are so desperate to find out about. It does not exist. However, on the 8th of February, 7th of February, he issued an executive order directing that the Department of State and the Department of Homeland Security get a priority and get people out of South Africa who want to resettle. So that changed that executive order for South Africa. The rest of the world, nobody can come. The massive corrupt abuse of that system by the Biden regime, undermining our national integrity and allowing people to come to this country fraudulently under the refugee program, led Trump to suspend the program. However, it will be opened up for South Africans, and it can be closed at any time. So, you know, if you either crap or get off the pot, if you're going to make a decision. Okay. The U.S. is full of shooting, unlike South Africa, where it happens with centuries-old revolvers. In the U.S., it occurs with full of shooting. I have no idea what Pablo Charlie's trying to troll about. I will bring her for you, Chris, in my suitcase. I don't know. Is that a pet or a border mice? What are you bringing for me, Marissa? A pet or a border mice? What about Uma, who is old age? Asked and answered. Folks, all right. Would one of my mods put the link up there, because this is really getting away from the news. I'm sorry, but if you're going to hang around till the end, I'll come back and answer questions like that. But we've already spent 45 minutes and haven't got to the news because I'm trying to be polite and greet people. These are questions I've answered hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, that very question. So please hang around or go watch my video, 14 Frequently Asked Questions. Jackson Hinkle interview. I don't know who Jackson Hinkle is. Be patient. Yeah, Tom Holding is clearing out the illegals. I'll make space for everybody. Marco Erasmus, we desperately need air traffic controllers, but your qualifications are likely insufficient for the United States or simply different. You'll have to go through certification. Yep. And, oh, by the way, you make a shitload of money. Marco, if you're an air traffic controller and you're certified American, you are well compensated. That's what I wanted to do. I was in high school, and unemployment was 26% in my county, early 1980s, and I had no money. I didn't own the farm where I lived. I had no prospect of owning a farm, no money, no job, no hope, eating the dogs, eating the cats. It was one of those scenarios, although we don't eat the dogs and cats. That's only in Springfield. But I was in Ohio. So what I wanted to do, Ronald Reagan fired the air traffic controllers because they're essential employees and they were asshats and went on strike, endangering the public safety of the nation. So he fired them. And they had to take air traffic controllers from the military and use them in civilian airports, bring back retired people, hire people from overseas to be air traffic controllers to keep the air network flowing. Today, if that happened, we'd be paralyzed and crippled. But he's able to do it back then. And it got my interest. And I looked into it. I'm like, air traffic control, that sounds fascinating, really cool. And I found out they were paid a lot of money. I mean, like in the early 80s, they paid like $50,000 to $80,000 a year. I mean, that's a fortune back then. That'd be north of $200,000 today easily with inflation. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So when I enlisted in the Army, that's a specialty in the Army, air traffic controller. And I qualified for it. Yay! But a lot of people who qualified for it were trying to get in the Army air traffic controllers. So I could go, but I'd have to wait 1 year and 3 months before I even went to basic training, because that's when the next slot would be in 1 year, 1 year and 5 months for the air traffic controller school. So I didn't become an air traffic controller. All right. Can I take all my money over? No. South African law doesn't let you do that. We have no say over that. South African law is designed to prevent people from leaving South Africa and taking their money with them. Some people are clever, know how to get their money out of South Africa legally, but most of you are just going to lose everything. You can't bring your money over here. I mean, you have limits on transfers. People have offshore banking accounts. People do crypto. People do other things. Yeah, but I mean, I can't answer that question. I mean, I'm not an expert in South African law. I just know that they limit it. And they've been doing that for years because so many people are leaving the country and transferring their assets to London, to the Channel Islands, to New Zealand, Australia. Boydiki, this will never be settled. This is going to be an issue for time immemorial. Yeah, ATC is very stressful. Okay, see, here we go. Shasa Brown, I answered that question 3 times in this stream in 45 minutes. Courtney, $5. Republicans once promoted land expropriation. 40 acres a mule was coming slogan in the 19th century. That's not land expropriation. What are you talking about, land expropriation? That's land granting. It's not land expropriation. That's a land grant program. Homestead Act. 40 acres a mule is a myth made up by people trying to distort Americans' history. The Homestead Act allowed people to claim 100 acres. That's not expropriation. That's giving people land. The government gave people land to settle it. It's okay, Shasa. I know you just arrived. I'm trying to be patient, but I've answered the question. Yes, as a refugee, you can serve in the military. You don't even have to be a refugee. You can join the U.S. military right now if you meet the standards from wherever you're at around the world. As long as you're not a criminal, you fail drug tests, you're not a druggie, and you're physically fit, and you're willing to take an oath, you can apply and join the military now. So it's a quick path to citizenship, quicker than refugee status. If you serve in the military honorably for 3 years, you typically can become a citizen at the end of that, which is quicker than anyone else. Yes, you can start a business. Well, SV Endless, you gave a huge super chat, so I'm definitely going to address that one. Yes, you can start a business. Why wouldn't you be able to start a business? Anyway, all right, time to move on to the news. This is not the refugee channel. This is my channel for news, events, analysis of things going on around the world. I will come back to questions about this as we get through the news. Let me get through the news, folks, because a lot of people are here for the news. And I cannot forget my original audience who've been here all along hanging out. Why not just put the frequently asked questions and answers in the description? What do you mean, put it in the description? For this video? So you want me to sit around and spend a couple hours typing up questions and answers to the questions? To what end? To what end? See, now people are just trying to take advantage of my generosity. I mean, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for this. I have a life. I have other things to do too. And I'm burning the candle on both ends and in the middle to try to keep them informed. And now people want me to write. Maybe I misunderstood the point there. If people are too lazy to watch the video, that's on them. I mean, I spent 3 or 4 hours putting that video together. All right, news time. News time. All right, the State of the Nation debate, Cyril Ramaphosa. We will never allow forced removals again. At the same time, he's talking about expropriation without compensation. That's a forced removal. What a lying sack of horse manure. This guy takes the cake. He is about as bright as a 2-watt light bulb, but that's Cyril, the man who stuffs $560,000 in his sofa and perverts the means of justice. So here we go. President Cyril Ramaphosa indirectly tells AfriForum Solidarity and all the white people who are concerned about land expropriation to rest in comfort because South Africans will not do what the apartheid government to black people. Well, first off, this is a racist article from the toilet paper record, The Independent Line. The apartheid government took land from everybody, not just black people, took it from coloreds, took it from Indians, and took land from white people. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The apartheid government, surprise, 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 expropriated land from white farmers. That's a fact. You can deny it all you want. You can play games. This is racist bullshit. Racist bullshit. Now, the disproportionate loss of land, overwhelming loss of land, were to coloreds and to blacks. True statement. Can't deny that. But to sit here and pretend that it's a white and black issue is just lying, slimy, race hustling, uninformed, wet behind the ear, drippy nose, little 20-year-old turds who know nothing about the history of the country. White people should rest in comfort. We won't expropriate land. Bullshit. It's already been done. The Ackerland Brewery. Oh, but Chris, you're spreading fake news. The Ackerland Brewery was never expropriated. You don't have to destroy someone's property rights by expropriating it. You merely need to threaten that, forcing people into fire sales of their property. But Chris, that's not true. The Nicklin Brewery owners got 4 times what the government offered. Well, yeah, because they didn't offer them jack shit. $20 million for a game ranch. The capital improvements alone were worth 2 or 3 times that. They were forced to sell. But Chris, it's in the public interest. It was necessary to help the poor, black, historically disadvantaged and dispossessed. If only that were true, I might be willing to consider it as legitimate. But that's not who it was for. The claimants to the land, whose grandfathers, it's my grandfather's land. We can't go there. We can't go there. It's not their land. It was sold to a coal company, Coal of Africa, which is headquartered in Melbourne, Australia. And its board of directors is comprised of Chinese nationals. This company, which has changed its name to hide the fact that it was involved in this shady deal with Ackerland Brewery, this shady company has 4 coal mines. Are they in China? No, which is one of the world's largest coal producers. Are they in Australia? Another large? No. This company based in Melbourne, Australia, with 3 Chinese nationals on its board of directors, has all 4 coal mines in South Africa. I think they're all in Limpopo province, if I'm not mistaken, or Mpumalanga. All 4. The coal company wanted to explore for coal. The owners said no. The government said, well, we're going to expropriate your property. And they said, no, we're not going to do it. Well, here's $20 million. Well, that's ridiculous. That's not going to meet our bills. Well, so they gave them an expropriation letter, said, your farm is taken. Well, the owners don't have the money to fight this. They looked around and went to SAI, AfriForum, and money. They put the money together, got lawyers. They got the expropriation order stopped because it didn't follow the law and the Constitution. But now the handwriting's on the wall. They want the land. They're going to take it. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're going to take it. So the owners sold to the coal company. Now, the coal company, which so desperately needed this land and forced them to shut down and destroy a business that employed dozens of people, all right, now belongs to the coal company. Do they give it over to the claimants? Nope. So what happens? They don't mine the coal. Maybe it was none there. But the game ranch is destroyed. The property rights are abrogated. Lives destroyed. But Chris, they got 80 billion rand. Yeah, but they lost their property. They lost their fee for income. And a successful working part of South Africa's economy was destroyed. For what? Oh, by the way, what's going on with that land now? It belongs to a Saudi prince. Are the claimants on it? No. This is all bullshit. Don't fall for it. Cyril Ramaphosa and these race hustlers are vile, disgusting human beings. Yes, they will do what they did under apartheid because that's what oppressive, abusive states do the world over. Never give them this control. Look what my government did, censoring me illegally, violating the First Amendment of the Constitution, using YouTube as an agent of the federal government. This is a criminal violation. No one's been charged. I have a lawsuit against the U.S. government, against the officials who did this. They don't have immunity. You can't violate the Constitution and go, I'm a government official. We can do that. You cannot engage a media company telling them to censor me, which is what you did. Well, meanwhile, Cyril Ramaphosa sends South African soldiers off to a needless war to die. Well, it sounds like Vietnam, huh? A needless war in the Congo, honors them on their return. At a solemn ceremony to mark the return of remains of 14 SANDF soldiers on Thursday night, President Ramaphosa offered his profound and deepest sympathies to the families of those who were killed in the Congo. They lost their lives in the name of duty, in pursuit of peace, and in the cause of silencing the guns across our beloved continent. They lost their lives in defense of the defenseless. No, sadly, they lost their lives in pursuit of glory and mining for South Africa's elites. Silence the guns is a bogus slogan put out by the African Union, which is doing nothing to silence any guns. Hammondskraal residents, Action SA, and their mayor tells us that the water is safe to drink. The water is safe to drink. The DA and Celia Sprinker, evil criminals, they did nothing. They allowed people to die from cholera and Hubbenscrawl, the evil people. Ooh, the DA, the DA, the DA. Apparently the water in Hubbenscrawl, big show of that. You remember that? The mayor, the new Action SA mayor, who was the deputy mayor to Celia Spring for 6 months. The water in Hubbenscrawl is perfectly safe to drink. Watch as I drink from the spigot. No cholera, no arsenic, no mercury, no lead. It's the water of life. Only it's not, ladies and gentlemen. The water in Hubbenscrawl is unsafe, according to the media. This is a little embarrassing for Action SA. What happened there? Hubbenscrawl residents urged not to drink the water. The mayor told us it was good. Nasife Moya said the water was clean. Hubbenscrawl residents are being urged to refrain from consuming tap water until the testing is completed by the city of Schwane. My goodness, there's a problem at the Klipdrift Mahali's water package plant. But we were told all is well. The evil DA, which is in power in Schwane, is out of power now. And Action SA, they've read to the rescue. Wow, the water. Look at that. Don't drink the water. But the mayor said it was safe. She should take Eugene Johnson's advice in Nelson Mandela Bay. You say, what you do is you put a little jick in the water. You just pour it in there. You mix it around in the water and you drink that bleach in your water, according to Eugene Johnson, or Eugene Johnson from Nelson Mandela Bay. Remember her? Francois Diaga, protecting Cyril's mining interest. 800 soldiers were sent a few days ago. Yes, I know. They're reinforced. Yep, I confirm that. Reserve Bank says South African resident can take out $1 million per year without tax clearance, $10 million with tax clearance. There you go. So if you have 200 million rand, it takes you 20 years to get it out, or 10 years. Yeah, 20 years. If you have, so there you go. Thank you, Miss B. Thank you for that clarification. See, there are restrictions on that. That's to keep the country from having capital flight. Yep. And this is a good example why they would have rules like that. And I would understand. If I was South Africa, I'd have rules like that too, particularly if I had failed governance and a country was collapsing around me. I would have restrictions on foreign or money leaving the country too. Otherwise, you're going to have capital flight and your economy will collapse. So that's why they do it. Thank you, Miss B, for looking that up. Cool beans. All right. Well, things are not going well in the Mkhonto Isizwe party, ladies and gentlemen. Not going well at all. Oh, my goodness. There is a dispute between John Shlope, the impeached former Western High Court judge, and Manyi. They got physical at the State of the Nation address debate. Apparently, the gloves came off. Look at the pretend soldiers. Look at the pretend soldiers. Oh, they're playing soldier. News 24 understands that sources from the MK Party caucus that things have become heated between Manyi and Shlope during the party's meeting on Wednesday. The former judge allegedly felt betrayed by the speech Manyi gave him to deliver the State of the Nation address. And apparently, Shlope spent all his time praising Jacob Zuma, not reading the room. And Zuma wasn't happy. He said, don't praise me as president. That was interesting. Duduzile Zuma Sambudla has apologized yet again. Ooh, the groveling is becoming entertaining. MK Party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla has issued a second apology for insulting Party Secretary General Floyd Shivambu. Boy, is it me or is Floyd packing on the pounds there, man? Look at that. She looks downright svelte next to Floyd. He's carrying a couple spare tires. It looks like he's a long-distance truck driver carrying his spare tires around his waistline. I'm not that big. Anyway, SASA beneficiaries can't get their money. Ooh, because the government has failed once again. They face long queues and accessibility issues before the gold card deadline. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Human rights organizations like Balak Sash have raised concerns regarding challenges faced by Social Security Agency SASA beneficiaries in their quest to replace their gold cards before they're phased out on February 28th. Well, after February 28th, if you haven't got your new access, you'll get no welfare money. And that whole $23.17 is going to break a lot of people. Cyril Ramaphosa has decided to set the Special Investigative Unit on eThekwini, again, the city of Durban, probing the water issue. That's what the IFP and the DA are having a fallout over, the water issue there. President Ramaphosa has given the Special Investigating Unit the go-ahead to investigate fraudulent activities around a water and sanitation infrastructure contract in eThekwini. Why does the Hawks need the president's approval to investigate corruption? Do you see a problem there? They have a charter to do it. Why do they have to go to the president and get permission to investigate? If you want a warrant, that's a different story. You go to court, but you don't need the president's permission. This is why the scorpions being taken away was such a disaster for South Africa. And interesting full disclosure, I was never a fan of an extrajudicial, extra-legal body like the scorpions, but the reality is that it was effective, and I'll admit that freely. As the chicken hawks are under the leash and yoke of the ANC, and so they're only effective where the ANC wants to let them go. When they uncover stuff, it gets brushed aside. Dr. William Kesey was found all but guilty by an investigation, a special investigating of the Hawks, of corrupt practices in the Digital Vibes contract during the COVID scam. Dr. William Kesey has never faced criminal charges for his actions. Investigation buried. But the ANC said it's okay. He resigned as health minister. But ladies and gentlemen, he still draws a salary, sits in parliament, and votes on matters of interest. A person who cannot be trusted by the public decides your fate, your taxes, whether your property is expropriated. That's Dr. William Kesey, a man who is deeply enmeshed in the Digital Vibes, and members of his family profited from kickbacks from that, according to the Hawks. But he sits in parliament. But it's okay, because we're just eating the dogs, we're eating the cats. Well, Action SA is demanding answers on a 194 million rand tender awarded to a Nigerian-linked company to fix Diepsloot. Well, that's not really the name of the street. They renamed it. It's not Diepsloot. There you go. Remember this? Remember that explosion in Johannesburg? Wow. Action SA has written to the Johannesburg Mayor, Dada Marrero, and Transport MMC Kenny Kunene. Oh, there's a collection of heroes. Demanding answers on the awarding of 194 million tender to Nigerian-linked company Corona Engineering to fix Lillian Ngoyi Street. Man, Diepsloot. That's Diepsloot, folks. That's not Lillian Ngoyi Street. That's Diepsloot. Former intelligence minister, a defense minister, a minister of human settlements, and minister of bullshit, and milking mommy and daddy's fame and name, Lindiwe Sisulu. I'm not laughing at what happened here, but I'm laughing about who she is. Lindiwe Sisulu's lost her home. Her village home was torched. Former intelligence minister, Lindiwe Sisulu's village home in the Kutubeni administrative area outside of Nkobo was engulfed in flames on Wednesday night in what police are treating as arson and burglary. The fire broke out around 10 p.m., destroying the main house, and two other buildings in the property sustained broken windows. On police arrival, it was discovered that out of 3 houses in the homestead, the main house was burnt down. The other 2 houses had their windows broken. Upon searching the premises, police discovered a comforter set. There you go. She was shocked and dismayed. I feel violated. That place has become my home, which is so close to my heart and where I felt protected. When I heard the news, I was shocked. I'm sorry, Minister Sisulu. You feel violated. Imagine how all the black, white, brown, and colored folks, Indians, Afrikaners, coloreds living in rural areas feel when they're murdered in their homes on farms. Khayelitsha man convicted of a 2022 kidnapping and rape of a 9-year-old girl. Sick people. Sick people. Khayelitsha resident Sefio Madakazi Thursday found guilty of kidnapping and raping a 9-year-old. So he'll get, what, 2 years in prison? The girl's family said her life changed for the worse following the ordeal. Absolutely. She's probably gone through a horrible ordeal. The girl, who was 9 at the time, was abducted while heading to a local shop and taken by him to his car where his friends were waiting. She knew him as a family friend and seemingly did not put up a fight. When they arrived at his home, he played loud music to drown out her cries as he raped her. He returned her to her grandmother the following day, falsely asserting that he found her playing outside late at night and decided to let her stay at his house. Wow. Another pedo rapist in South Africa. Say it ain't so. So why are the media so desperate? Back to the refugee program, folks. Why are the media so desperate to rubbish the refugee program? I'm not promoting it. I'm simply giving the information. But the media are going out of their way to run stories that are one-sided. They're not talking to people who are desperate to go. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. For those who hung around, I know some people left because they didn't get the answers they wanted right away. We've dropped about 100 viewers. So thank you for those things. So would you like to take up Trump's... We've asked this before, but I'm asking it again. We're doing this pretty much every day because it's been running about 2/3 of the people who keep saying they want to take it up. But again, my audience is not representative of South Africa. All right, so yes or no. Would you like to take up Trump's offer? So there you go. But they keep running stories in the press in South Africa all the time about how bad America is, how we discriminate against minorities. By the way, if you happen to be white and you come here, you're not a minority. You're a majority. So that's a silly story in and of itself. If you're black, you're going to be a minority. Only 11% of the country is black. Mixed race, probably about 1 or 2% of the country. What the heck is that? Something here nasty on my table. What the heck happened there? Anyway, sorry. So they just are trying to rubbish what's going on and why they're so desperate to do it. And here's 2 more stories that are trying to rubbish the refugee program because they're scared. They're terrified that people will take up this offer. And also it hurts their feelings that they've been exposed. That plaster has been removed. Donald Trump has removed that plaster of ANC that's been covering it since 1994. You see this? This is the plaster right here. And Donald Trump ripped it off. And there's a festering, gangrenous, pus-filled wound of ANC governance underneath. No Rainbow Nation, no equality, no justice, no equal treatment, no non-racialism. No, that plaster has been removed. Anyone see that one about the guy with his girlfriend with all the child porn? Yeah, that's, I think the guy's white and she's black. But I didn't want to run that story. Enough of those stories. So, that's what's going on there. So let's talk about the stories that are rubbishing the refugee program. This is propaganda. When you intentionally tell one side of a story or an incomplete story or frame a narrative in order to influence people to do something, well, I'm not influencing you to do anything. If you don't come to America, that's fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings. In fact, it costs me money. Every one of you that comes here costs me tax dollars. Costs us a fortune for people in the refugee program. Am I telling you not to come? Nope. Am I telling you to come? Nope. Nope. I'm giving you both sides of the story. That's what an objective journalist does. That's what an honest person does. But the media are dishonest. Here you go. Trump's immigration order. Afrikaners in Pietermaritzburg choose home over relocation. But these are the beneficiaries of apartheid. The white people are wealthy. There are no poor white people. There are farm murders. And CEOs told us, the ANC's told us. We've just heard that we have to take everything away from the people because they've illegally got it illegitimately because of apartheid and give it to people who never owned it. Yes. But what's this? A long line of white people and a couple colored people standing in an informal squatter camp. They look suspiciously like white folks and colored folks. What's going on here? Residents of the predominantly white squatter camps in South Africa are in the dark about President Trump's decision to migrate them to America. That's not President Trump's decision to migrate them. We're not migrating anybody to America. President Trump has made the refugee resettlement program an existing program of record under U.S. law available to people in South Africa based on racial discrimination. I'm not trying to migrate anybody. Fake news. Bongani Hans. You need to take a dictionary, buddy. Yep. While others flatly reject the offer. Afrikaners living in the impoverished community in Pietermaritzburg have rejected President Trump's invitation to relocate to America, saying South Africa is their home. Others stated the offer, which currently covers all Afrikaners who are victims of unjust racial discrimination, was unrealistic as migrating would require hefty money for visa applications, flights. Nope. That's fake news. You don't pay for a refugee visa. Doesn't happen. You do not. That's a lie. Settling abroad? You don't know what it's going to cost. Bongani, you don't know. Tell me what it's going to cost to settle abroad. Are you aware, Bongani, that the Afghans got a free transport to America on C-17s? We paid for it. Are you aware they got a monthly stipend and housing? Are you aware they got job assistance, Bongani? No, you're not, because you're full of crap and you know what you're talking about. You're just another leftist fake news purveyor in South Africa, spreading falsehoods and lies. 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 Unrealistic as migrating require hefty money for visa application. That's bullshit. Who told you that? You don't pay for a visa as a refugee. You're fleeing persecution. Stupid. Phoenix says, I've never seen the media this transparently dishonest. I have, and I've been telling people that, but people are willing to ignore it. Now they're not. They're paying attention. So, Rudy Kritzinger said there would be nothing exciting about leaving his country. Well, okay, Rudy, that's your choice, buddy. Your choice. What's that last thing someone just did? Thank you, Fundameva. Some say their school-age going children are still not in school because there were no-fee schools, nearly as there were in the Black Township Maroons. This reporter visited the Orby village, which is associated with poverty, drug abuse, and crime, to speak to some residents who mostly survive by doing odd jobs in the neighborhood upmarket suburbs. Earlier this month, Trump signed. By the way, these people here, these poor white people, their kids aren't going to school because they can't go to school because there's none that don't charge fees. These are the people that under the Bella bill will be in prison, fined and in prison. The Bella bill authorizes the government to fine and or imprison people who don't make sure their kids are in school. This is meant to harm poor South Africans, particularly black, but it will affect folks like this. Your kids aren't in school, running around barefoot, not in school because they can't afford school fees. Those are desperately poor. What else here? Others expressed anger at Trump for the offer. There's racism wherever you go. I'm going nowhere, and even if I were a farmer, I wouldn't go. No one asked for farmers, buddy. She said her life in South Africa was fine, although I'm not rolling in the money. I'm getting minimum wage. Well, good. If you can live on $1.43 per hour, good for you. I don't know many people in South Africa live for $1.43 per hour. If you cannot make it work in your country, how are you going to make it work elsewhere? Said Larson, whoever this person is. Well, Kim Larson, not to attack you personally, but if you can't make it work in your own country, how are you going to make it work in another country? How do you think America was founded? Do you think we all just showed up here? Boom, shakalaka. Look at all these people here. They built an amazing, powerful, world-class country. People came here because they were oppressed religiously. The Pilgrims came to escape religious persecution. Maryland was founded as a Catholic colony. Pennsylvania was founded as a Protestant colony by William Penn. Religious persecution. Others came, Jews, to escape the pogroms in Poland, in Belarus, and Ukraine, and Russia. Others came for yet other reasons. Vietnamese came to escape the communists. The Hmong came here to escape the communists. Chinese came here to escape the communists. Do you see a trend? Lots of people came here to escape oppression. They couldn't make it because they were being oppressed. What a dumb comment. How can you be a reporter and go to a place like this and take that seriously? That's not reporting. That's sensationalism. Finding desperate people who are uninformed and asking them questions to reinforce your argument against or for something. That's not journalism. That's sensationalism. That's yellow journalism. Maslow, kind of worried about people demonstrating it tomorrow at the U.S. Embassy. Well, I understand your concern, but I have talked to the organizers of the event. They have security available, and so it should go off without a hitch, we'll see. Plus, the embassy is closed on a Saturday, although I suspect that the charge d'affaires will probably have an official there to accept something from the group. When approached, Crystal Boucher said she lives among blacks, coloreds, and white people who are all suffering. She's disappointed that Trump freezing ID, which she said helped his community get health care services from charity organizations that often visit her villages. He took medication away from people who have HIV, which is not right. Well, first off, Crystal Boucher, you're wrong. 37, you're not very smart, not attacking you personally, but you're wrong. Trump didn't take any HIV medication away from anybody. That's a lie. It never happened. These were lies perpetrated by NGOs in South Africa who were bumhurt that the gravy train was ending. So they just closed their services and said, we have nothing. It's Trump's fault. It's a fucking lie. It never happened. You may not like HIV meds, but it's not because of Trump. That money never stopped flowing. The money continued to flow to all existing contracts. What Trump did was freeze all future commitments. I'm sick of this yellow journalism and fake bullshit. You're talking to people who don't know what you're talking about. So should I go to Deep Sloot and ask people about geopolitics in the Congo? You think I'm going to get informed opinions there? Wow. She also rejected going to America, saying when she gets there, she might end up not knowing herself. That's true. Even if he's saying he's going to pay for this and that, I don't know whether I and my children are going to be safe. Okay, well, now you're full of shit. Please spare me. Anyway, I'm a single mother, 3 children. I'm struggling to get my children to school as the government is not helping. He's creating a problem where there's no problem, said Yanni Lang. Now, see, this is bullshit. This is propaganda. This is what fake media do. And here's another one, a so-called immigration expert. This is a guy from a business that makes money by helping South Africans get out of the country, and he wants to rubbish America. Here you go. Immigration expert warns Afrikaners about taking up Donald Trump's offer. An immigration expert has warned Afrikaners not to jump on Donald Trump's offer. Yeah, Visa Immigration SA Managing Director Ross Fillon was reacting to Trump's executive order. And he, of course, claims in here that America is unsafe, it treats minorities poorly, and it's xenophobic against immigrants. That's a lie. That's a lie. All right, so I'm going to come back to the news in a minute, but let me get back to the chat. I'm going to end the poll. All right, again, they're not a representative sample because obviously a lot of people that are interested in this have come to my program because they think this is where they're getting their information at. 84% would like to take people up on that. So that's 84. It's 85 times 4, 160, 320. That's over 320 people out of 400 people said they would take him up. So there are a lot of people on here trying to make you mad. Who's trying to make me mad? Well, let me go see who's trying to make me mad. Thank you for the super chat. What's going on? Did I miss something here? Let's go back. My mods taking care of it. Suddenly, the legacy media might lose half of the readership. Yeah, that's true. Did anyone see that? Okay, I was there. Okay. Does your poll apply to me, Tony? No, you can't answer it. You're in Canada. The Khoisan were the original. Okay. Okay. Colonel under refugee status, can one never return to South Africa, not even for a funeral? Annabelle, normally people cannot return to the country they're being persecuted from. Otherwise, what's the point of giving refugee status? You know, I saw this on my channel. There's these idiots know, well, you know, they're going to leave, they're going to do this, and they're just going to come back on holiday like they always do. Well, they don't always do that because no one's ever had refugee status under this program in America from South Africa. So you can't make a statement they always do. That's never happened. He's talking about people who immigrate to another country and they come back. Well, that's different. Immigrants are very different than refugees, which are different than asylum seekers, which are different than migrants. All very different legal categories. Normally, a refugee cannot go back while you're in refugee status. However, if you come under the resettlement program in America, within 12 months, you have to apply for a green card as a refugee, giving you status here. You can stay here as a resident under the refugee program. And then at the point when you can become a citizen, if you want to become a citizen, then you can apply and become a citizen. If you meet the standards, you become a citizen around 5-year point. In the meantime, normally you wouldn't be allowed to go back to South Africa at all. However, they are exceptions for everything. Funeral is a good question. A funeral or, someone suffered a stroke or something like that, you may be able to go back, but you'd have to have approval from the government. You can't just go back. You risk losing your status and not being able to come back. So, that's the reality. People think this is immigration. You need to full stop. It's not immigration. It's incredibly generous, but it's meant for people who are fleeing gunfire. It's meant for people who are being dropped off of roofs because they're homosexuals. It's meant for people whose life is in peril. That's the purpose of it. This is unbelievably generous. Unbelievably generous. But nothing is free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And again, I've told Afrikaners, if you cherish your culture and your language, that's great. But in one generation, it'll be gone. And I don't want to hear the stories, but yeah, look at Patagonia. The Afrikaners are still there. Yeah, Pablo Suarez is not an Afrikaner. Juan de Vet is not an Afrikaner. I'm sorry. What else? So there you go. Annabelle, I think I answered that for you. I love the plaster. Please do the accent like this morning. That was fun. They're afraid of the tax base getting smaller. Yeah, that's why they're doing all this fake news. The flight to the USA is cock long. Oh, yeah, already get 17 and a half hours one way, 14 the other way. Yeah, because you're into the headwinds. It is long. And get on a cramped plane. I've done that flight so many times. I nearly died on one of those flights. Yep, I had a gallstone stuck. Sherez says, sorry to cost you tax. There's no need to apologize. We do this out of generosity of our heart. That's the human condition. I'm just saying that it cost us money. So, I'm not encouraging people to do it. I'm not telling you not to go. IOL. Yep. Well, Diblixum, someone has to expose them. Country has gone to crap, and it's going to get worse. Poland is poor. Poland is poor? It's not as rich as America, but I wouldn't say it's poor. It's richer than South Africa. Brenda Opperman, I think that is, the 70 Rand Super Chat. Thank you very much for that. This country, okay, Trump has broken the spell. He has. He's ripped the plaster off and exposed the wound. Based on the poll results, I voted no, but if 87% of Afrikaners left, I believe too. Yeah, but that's not going to be the case. Cracker Barrel Kid, let's be honest. Okay, everyone is here. 676 of you. Thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing my content. Wayne Filion, welcome to you. But let's be honest. A lot of people are here because I'm the one who's not bullshitting you, not pulling the wool over your eyes, and someone's told you to come here, or you found me because you saw my video. Thank you. But a lot of these people are here. Probably won't be here when this topic dies down, or if they find they're not eligible, or they come to America, then they won't be here. And that's fine. No one twists anybody's arm to be here. It's nice to have a big audience. It's great. Really enjoy it. It should be 6,700, not 667. But hey, we'll take this. It's a lot better than having a small audience of 50 all the time, which is nice and intimate at times. But anyway, but let's be honest. A lot of people just want to know about what's going with this program. And so they're here. And so we're getting a skewed poll outcome. Yeah, we're getting a skewed poll outcome. First off, there's very few black South Africans are watching the program right now. In fact, I haven't really noticed anybody that recognizes black here. Usually I have some. There's a few colored folks here. I don't see any Indians tonight that I'm aware of are Indians. So you already have a skewed poll because of that. And people are here because they're interested in the program. So if I were Mighty Jamie and I did a poll, it would be just the opposite direction because the people who gravitate to that channel. So I recognize that. I'm honest, but a lot of people. So don't be I don't want to say misled, but don't infer incorrectly that everybody who's an Afrikaner or white or colored wants to leave South Africa. They don't. So the media are correct. There are people who don't want to leave, but they're only telling a partial story and they're telling lies about America to convince people. You don't have to tell lies. Just tell people the truth. It's not easy. You'll be expected to work. You get help, but it's short term. Then you're on your own. And moving to another country is a huge commitment. People, millions, tens, hundreds of millions of people have done it for centuries, but it's a modern world. You come here with no credit rating. You'll have no credit rating, which means you won't be able to borrow any money normally. But as the advice that Arctic gave is get yourself a prepaid debit card, which you can pick up at Walmart or somewhere like that, and then establish a credit history by using it. Prepaid means you can't borrow money and you pay it off. And it looks like a credit card. So build a credit history. But it takes time. You don't get it immediately. Unless you got a lot of wealth you transferred, you can draw it out of the bank. You're starting at the bottom. You're starting at the bottom. So, I mean, let's be honest about that. So, anyway, Awkward Leon's here. There are no farm murders. Yeah, no farmers. Sasa Grand cards, gold stop for blank card. Yep. All right, Michael B., welcome to Pierre Rousseau. Ek is fucking 2 years unemployed. I'm leaving, says Pierre. Old enough to remember I followed that story in Scope. I don't know what that story is. We sincerely appreciate U.S. help. Thank you, Natasha. You're welcome. There's a lot of informal settlers. I'm aware of that. I don't care how long the flight is. I'm so excited. It won't be 10 minutes, Maslow. It's a long flight. Yes, we'll take Mr. Trump's offer and go and do work. Okay, no water in the West Rand 3 days. Oh, wow, there you go. Those people probably don't want to give in to the hope. Okay, thank you for spreading our pain. What are you talking about, Francois Olafia? Who's spreading your pain? Never seen the media this transparent. Yeah, they've been dishonest. Okay, let me jump ahead a little bit here. Russell Copeland says, go, Chris, go. Sorry, plenty informal settlers. Who said there wasn't? What are you talking about? A couple super chats coming in there. Thank you for your first one there, Charazon. Thank you so much for everything. You're welcome. Paul Doveden's back. Tom Smith, Georgia was settled in 1733. So which Indian shall I return my house to? Yeah. If property rights are risked, then the majority of black people suffer. Exactly, PK. Exactly. And that's who they'll come after next. They've already been expropriating property from the landless who got farms in Zimbabwe. So propaganda there is about 800,000 white people in camps. I think most of them with kids will be serious considering. I don't think there's 800,000 white people in camps. Where's that coming from? I've never seen 800,000 white people in camps. That would mean that 1 of every 4 white people is in a camp. No, not more than 1. It's 1/3. That's nonsense. Will Trump send a passenger plane or cargo plane to bring Southern people? Because it will be a lot of people. We have no idea. Whites never made the news headlines, but all of a sudden you see white people in the news. Yeah, exactly. The only time, as I've said, Joe Kruger, which I've been saying for several days, the only time that white people mattered to the media in South Africa is when they were being accused of being racist, Brockenfell, or they've been murdered on a farm, or they're the butt of some joke. They don't care to talk to white people. They just don't care. They don't every day. Basic bups. What's that? Okay. South Africa is trying to discourage us from leaving South Africa. Horrific stories and trying to make us afraid that we will be worse than they are now. Well, the problem with that, Valerie, is that if in fact this program goes forward and people come over here and they'll face the real challenges. But if they're honest, they'll tell people. And once they've contacted people back home, watch out. The fire hose gets turned on. People coming like crazy. All right. Charmaine Oosthuizen. Okay. Tractor Champ. Always some people on these channels to stir things. I don't know who's stirring things up. All the most of us want is real justice, says Francois Moulman. Warren Hawks, welcome to you. Yochanan Shinut. What kind of... Sorry, I don't know that name. They say Elon Musk is buying everything. Well, they're fools. Again, let's say it was here earlier, and she tried to tell us last night that this is all because Donald Trump has been trying to do this because of AfriForum and Tucker Carlson since 2018. Well, that's Ima's observation, but it's nonsense. There's no basis in fact for it. But Trump did this. And, okay. So there's a news story here. I don't recall if I've gotten to it or I talked about it in the video that I made, but another bogus news story from the capture meeting in South Africa saying that Trump did this immediately. No, Trump didn't issue an executive order immediately. Cyril Ramaphosa, let's run back the events here. Trump became president on January 20th. Sometime between the 20th, probably the 21st and 23rd, between the 21st and 23rd, Trump had a phone call with Cyril Ramaphosa, who congratulated him on his presidency. Well done. That's polite. That's diplomatic. But Ramaphosa, knowing that expropriation without compensation was highly sensitive and a violation of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, failed to mention to Trump that he was going to make a big show of signing that bill, even though he'd already signed it in December, signing it on January 23rd at Davos. After telling the world that South Africa's open for business, yes, we're open for business, we're going to steal your equity because we can expropriate it when you come here. So that was a betrayal, and that was impolite and cheeky of Cyril Ramaphosa to do. So they don't want to tell you that. January 20th, Trump is sworn in. January 23rd, Ramaphosa signs expropriation without compensation. February 2nd, Trump issues a tweet. So 23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 31. February 1st. February 2nd. 11 days, not immediately. 11 days Trump waits. Then he says, we are looking at ending aid to South Africa because of what they're doing, confiscating land. That's what Trump said. That's inarticulate, inartful, and not the correct terminology. But yes, it's allowing for confiscation of land. It's just not doing it yet, the government. There are land invasions, but they're not by the government so far. So that's 11 days later. Then he waits an entire week until the 7th of February to suspend foreign aid effective 30 September, by the way, not immediately. 30 September, foreign aid is suspended and offering a refugee resettlement program. Yet the news will tell you that this was immediate. It was because they signed it. Now they're all backtracking because they're idiots. They're hearing part of the story or they're watching my content. They're going back, well, it's actually because of Israel. So the anti-Semites in South Africa are running around like EFM going, oh, it's because of the Jews, the Jews made Trump do this. Oh my gosh. I've reported this. I've told you this. I've showed the legislation on the screen. The draft bill in front of the House of Representatives, a bipartisan Democrat, Republican pushed sponsored bill to sanction South Africa and to reevaluate our strategic relationship with South Africa in April of 2024. Who was present? Thank you, Vuta van Skalvik. Joe Biden. This predates Trump. People, get over Elon Musk. Get over Tucker Carlson. Get over AfriForum. None of them are responsible for this. Do you know who's responsible for this? The African National Congress. Done and dusted. Okay. Cracker Barrel Kid, California, despite its problems, is a paradise compared to most of Africa. Okay. Annalie Botma. Wow. Hold on. Passports everywhere you can't go vacation. What do you mean, Annalie Botma? What are you talking about? You can't go on vacation. You can't go back to the country you're fleeing from. You can go to Canada. You can go to France. You can go to Martinique. You can't go to South Africa. Otherwise, you're just a fraud. Wondering how we could commute in the beginning once we're on the ground, since none of us would have our own vehicles initially. Fondness. People are settled in urban areas. There's public transport. Honestly, this seems to be too good to be true. There's Arctic. After a few years of sticking it out with your American wife. Hey, don't be marrying our women. My sister married a Polish immigrant in South Africa whose family escaped, you guessed it, communism when he was very young. Yep. It's about property rights. Yep, it is. It's about property rights. I'm sure they have public transport. Yep, Annalie, you are correct. We have public transport, and we settle people in urban centers or near urban centers. We don't just dump them in the Kansas wheat fields. Here, fend for yourself. Walter Senecal, could you please explain how medical aid works in the U.S.? Well, we don't have medical aid. That's a South African term. There's no such thing. We have no healthcare system as such. Healthcare in America is a amalgamation, a combination, a plethora of different types of services, private for-profit businesses, clinics, private for-profit hospitals, religious hospitals like Lutheran hospitals, Catholic hospitals, federal government hospitals and clinics like the Veterans Administration, military hospitals. Then there are state hospitals and municipal run, many cities run hospitals and clinics, private practices. There is no such thing. Traditionally in this country for the longest period of time in the 20th century, people got medical coverage insurance through their employer. So during the Second World War, all the men disappeared. We had 18 million Americans in uniform during the Second World War, 15 million in the Army, which included the Air Force, and then 3 million in the Navy. So we had 18 million men. There were some women, a few 100,000 women, but basically 18 million men. And so those 18 million men disappeared from the workforce. Sorry, I've got something here on my shoulder. So 18 million men disappeared from the American workforce. They had to be backfilled. They brought women in. They paid them lower wages because they could get away with it. So they saved themselves a bunch of money during the war by paying women less than they paid the men, because that was the time. You could get away with that. After the war, the men came back, and they weren't going to work for those salaries, and the companies needed them in the steel factories and the automobile plants and all the jobs. So in order to not raise the wages too much, they made offers of benefits. And the benefits were things like medical insurance, which is inexpensive. We didn't have a lot of health care back then. So that became the norm. And your business, you got health insurance or dental coverage through your work. Well, Obama came along and lied about America's healthcare system, saying it was bad, which wasn't true. It just wasn't a system. And then he and Congress colluded to distort and pervert the system because they want to turn it into a socialist state like South Africa wants to do, where the government provides all healthcare. Why? I don't know. Other than they're just slimy leftists. So they came up with the Affordable Care Act, which I call the Unaffordable Care Act, which perverted the paying system and forced 20 million working people to lose their insurance because they had to raise insurance in order to pay for the cost of the program. And so a lot of people with health insurance to see their health insurance, if they're paying out of their pocket, go from $2,000 a year to $12,000 or $15,000 a year, which people couldn't afford. And that was intentional, to force them onto the government program, which we pay for in taxes, undermine the system. Now, the government system is all screwed up. Medicare and Medicaid, which take care of the elderly and people who are disabled, those programs set the maximum price they'll pay for things. So, for instance, I don't have a bill here, but when I go to visit the podiatrist, because I had an issue with my foot, I visit the podiatrist, my copay is $30. The bill is $290. That's what they have to make in order to make money, to pay the salaries for secretaries, pay for electricity, pay for the diagnostic equipment, pay the highly talented podiatrists who see, with his experience, one of the best in the country, by the way, one of the top 10 podiatrists in the country, according to survey. Anyway, just lucky for me. So $290 is what it actually costs for them to make some money off of it. The insurance provider, which is a contractor for the U.S. government, pays what the government says they can pay. So they say they'll pay $78. And of the $78, I have to pay $30. The government pays the other $48. So who pays the rest? People who pay out of pocket. The whole thing is messed up. We don't have aid as such. We don't have aid. So I really can't answer your question, Walter. Your situation for medical care is highly dependent on your status. And I don't know what coverage is for refugees. I won't even pretend. I suspect there's probably some sort of government-funded scheme or scheme for those on the refugee resettlement program so that you have medical care while you're in the program, at least initially. That's my supposition. I don't know. I don't resettle refugees in America. I just know from the other end how they get here and how it normally works. So, yeah, I don't know. So I'm sorry I can't answer anything better, but at least I'm honest with you, unlike most people are right now. But yeah, so I was shot with a shotgun. Good God, Gideon. That's horrible. It's about government control, PK, correct. Bertie van Antwerpen. Wow. From Antwerp. Salute. I am an ex-veteran. After the war, I went to correctional service and went on early retirement because the new government took our ranks away. Corruption all around. Yeah, it is terrible. Welcome, Stefan. Honestly, USA is not for grifters. No, it's not. Does anyone have a home for my beautiful two cats? Smee, why do you have to give your cats up? I'm sorry to hear that. That's a shame. Anybody want some cats? Smee again's got cats. For around 3 decades, South Africans have endured the oppression. Yep. Meerkats, I'll wait and see what the offer evolves. Exactly. That's the smart money there. Yeah, News 24 with fake news. Yep. Chris, get this. So I saw video news on YouTube today. Durbin says they are low on those meds, blaming USAID. You see, yeah, exactly. It's a lie. It's a lie. It was never stopped. It was never stopped. And again, this had nothing to do with the situation in South Africa. On January 20th, Trump paused foreign aid. But that did not include existing aid. Read the order. I know you guys probably have, but people don't read the order. The order says new commitments, no new funding commitments. So that means that if there's a contract in place to deliver antiretrovirals to clinics in South Africa by a third party, it doesn't cease, at least until 30 September, this fiscal year. That's when our fiscal year runs out. So that's a lie. But all these NGOs, oh, we have to stop. You've got no such order. You're morons. And you're doing it for attention to undermine the Trump administration. And that's exactly what they did. And then to clarify that, on January 28th, Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a humanitarian waiver for life-saving medication and techniques and the administrative costs of doing that. That's been clear since January 28th. And here we are almost a month later, almost 3 weeks later, and we still have liars in South Africa telling people around the world that USAID has stopped providing medication. You are liars. These are the very people accusing America of all the evils that they're perpetrating. There's no shortage of medication unless people put it in their pocket. There's no shortage of money. There was no cessation of money that ever took place. The EFF wants a debate in Parliament to complain about America cutting off HIV. Well, if the 17% they like to focus on is so unimportant, then why are you moaning? Pick up the cost yourself. I've never seen the media try so hard to convince the world that white South Africans love their country. Yeah, exactly. Did you tell them that it's closed? Huh? What are you saying, Artie? Wow, I'm way behind here again. I got to catch up, folks. Sorry. I'm going to miss a lot of chat here. So thank you so much for everything you do. You're welcome. Bruce Webster, if people are only joining your group to get info and then leave, they're big-ass fakes. Well, that may be true, but I mean, I'm not accusing anybody of that. But I'm realistic, Bruce. I realize that. And I'm not criticizing anybody. That's like I wouldn't criticize. It's like I did the video the other day and I told people, those people, because people in my chat were saying, you know, if you're leaving, shame on you. And I'm like, shut your mouth. You're not in that person's individual circumstances. And then for those who are leaving, like, well, the people who stay behind are dumbasses. No, shut your mouth. People shouldn't be forced to abandon their home just because of trying circumstances. So no one can sit in someone else's boots. I don't judge anyone on what you do. I may feel sad for you or happy for you, depending on your circumstances. But yeah, Bruce, yeah, I'm not going to criticize people. They just come here. I'm grateful for the likes. I'm grateful for the viewers. The fact we have 664 people right now and 808 likes. Really grateful for that. Thank you. Mario says, listen to the sound of my people. Vat je goed en trek, frère. Vat je goed en trek. Okay. South Africans are not lazy. We've worked for years. You say that, Tunis, but I know plenty of lazy South Africans. I know plenty of South Africans who are rich and poor who feel entitled. And I know plenty of South Africans who expect that they're supposed to have domestic help no matter how poor they are. I'm not criticizing South Africans. I'm just telling you what I know, Tunis. Yeah, a lot of South Africans work very hard and have a good work ethic, but not all do. It's just the nature of life. Tonight my channel's performing better than other channel used to beat you. No, that channel doesn't beat me. That channel also has over 100,000 more subscribers than I do. So, okay. Thank you for the update there, the Devet Martins. Been following, commenting for years. Thanks, Colonel, for not banning me. I had a crap out. Yeah. Well, people lose it sometimes in the chat. Yeah, the embassy tomorrow, JP Dreckmeyer. I'll be covering it live from Pennsylvania with feeds coming from South Africa and giving analysis and trying to calm the situation tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, thirsty South Africa. Okay. What on earth? We're not in camps yet, mate, but it could be a possibility in the future, says Rolf. The best channel, much respect. Thank you, Danny Fundebag, excuse me. Controlled and forgotten, our kids are better. Okay. Tony Zacharias, 30 years of oppression. Okay. Kai, government can't even provide for the people water and electricity. Exactly. Need a new government, pretty much world. Yeah, I agree with you. Angela May, can you take your child if he's 25 years old? Well, he's no longer your child, Angela. I appreciate your saying it, but he's an adult. No, he'll have to apply for asylum. If it's not a member of your immediate family in your household, they'll have to apply for asylum. How can you be a refugee if you must fill in doctor forms, pay your air ticket, and etc.? Okay, I don't care. Where are you getting that information from? Where are you getting that information from? Who said you have to pay for airfare? Where do you get that information from? Give me your source. I'm not saying you don't, but tell me your source. Fill in a doctor form? Oh, so refugees, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees don't require people to fill out forms to identify themselves and their medical conditions in refugee camps in Kenya, in Somalia? Is that what you're saying? I don't care. How can you be a refugee if you have to fill out forms? How can you not be how can you be a refugee and not fill out forms? Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't care. My goodness. Loretta says, thanks for giving us an update and seeing the corruption towards, well, it's not just whites, folks. Let's stop this racial obsession. This is not about whites. And if you think I'm going to have special empathy for people because you feel oppressed because of your skin color, you're wrong. An injustice is an injustice, whether it's committed against a child, an adult, a disabled, an abled, a black, a white, a brown, a Christian, Muslim, Jew. An injustice is an injustice. South Africa's coloreds, South Africa's Indians, and some blacks in South Africa are intentionally persecuted for who they are. That's the case. That's where my empathy is at. People who are being abused. I believe in what's right, moral, and just. This is not a white issue. Do not fall prey to that. Stop playing the victim here. Oh, we've been oppressed. And if you take offense to that, I'm sorry. But that is not helpful to the conversation. You can feel oppressed. You can share your thoughts here. That's great. That's fantastic. But all that people are doing when they say, oh, we've been oppressed because we're white, is playing into the narrative that the media is trying to say. These are ungrateful, inheritors of apartheid who simply don't like the fact that they're no longer special and privileged. That's what you're telling the world. If you don't realize it, that's what you're telling the world. Tell the U.S. government if you feel oppressed or persecuted when you apply for refugee status. I feel oppressed and I'm persecuted for the following reasons. That's fine. But, folks, lots of people are suffering in South Africa, not just white folks, okay? Loretta, that wasn't directed to you. It was just general shotgun blast. Okay. Napoleon Dynamite's back. Yeah, here you go. PK, thank you. You're all fighting each other, not the government. Thank you. JJ Fondamerva says he can go by himself. He's older than 21. Kevin, you're here all the time. I've answered that question 1,000 times. What does SASA have to do anything? We don't have SASA. We don't give a flip about SASA. That's none of our business. And again, it doesn't matter if you're 2 or 92. Yeah, Erica knows. She was a refugee from Katanga. She's been there and done that. She has the receipts. Still catching up. 5-10 minutes shorts that you produce works well. Push the misinformation list. What? 5 to 10 minute shorts you produce works well to push the misinformation list. I'm not pushing misinformation, and I'm not making shorts. Shorts are only up to 3 minutes. You mean shorter prepared videos? I'm not doing 5-minute videos. The shortest one, I only done a couple there, a few minutes. Most of my videos are 7 to 10 minutes. 7:52, 6:52, 10:48, 8:02, 4:31, that's an exception, 7:27, 19:15, 8:37. Yeah, almost all my videos are 7 to 10 minutes. Yep. And the one I did this morning is over 51,000 views now. Thank you all for that. 42,114 subscribers. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. He probably has a lot more evidence to manage. This isn't just some small choice. Are you talking about Trump's executive order? Yeah. Why is nobody emphasizing the Iran issue, which is what I'm talking. From all the narratives, it doesn't seem that any change can be gained in South Africa. What's the answer? I'm not fighting the government. I don't own a farm. I'm being pushed down by my own people to protect what they inherited. I don't understand. I don't care. I don't get. Thank you for. That's a follow-up comment. I don't understand what you're saying though. Trump makes Chuck Norris look like Tinkerbell. Alma says, we'll still be here long after the fact. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm grateful. Okay. Only drawback of socialism is once you run out of other people's money. Exactly. L. and Janssen, been following you for a few months. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time and effort reporting the truth. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Yeah, this has become the mostly South African channel when it was a global channel with an emphasis starting in South Africa, but that's because of events unfolding. How many people do you think will be allowed in? I have no idea, Ryan. The United States on the refugee resettlement program takes anywhere from a low of 30,000 people up to normally 150,000 people per year. We've taken more under the corrupt Biden regime. In this case, who knows? But don't worry, space is being made available. As we speak, Tom Homan and ICE are deporting criminal alien invaders, pedophiles, rapists, murderers out of this country. And when they're done with them, they'll start going after the people who violate our sovereignty because they're criminals. They're criminals, and they will be deported. So lots of room will be here. Charles Pretorius. Ideology. Did you see the J.D. Vance speech in Munich? I didn't see the speech, but I read the comments about it. Yep. Good day, name, surname. Do you know the percentage of black people class compared to the percentage of white middle class? Percentage-wise, I don't know. I've never worked the percentage out, but there's somewhere between 3 and 5 million middle-class black South Africans based on your statistics. Your government defines middle class. That's larger than the white population at the peak and somewhere with the total white population. Of course, toddlers are not middle class, so they don't count. The children, you strip it out. So it's more, no matter which figure, with more than the entire white population of South African middle class. Shot with a shotgun in my head. Okay, I already read that once. Okay, did it go back there? We're all so heated on race, but where are you on child murder? On rape? Duet wants independence. Well, you won't get it in America. You can't come here and create your own homeland. Sorry, if that's what you want. Nobody knows yet what the requirements or rules. Exactly, Ronell. Thank you for jumping in there. Leo Milan, they say those of us who want to accept the offer are runaways. We shame the people who died for this country. We have no future here. Can't get a job. Leo, those people are just asshats. Again, if you criticize someone for leaving, shut up. You're not in their shoes. If you criticize people for staying, shut up. You're not in their shoes. All right? Cyril invited South Africa Agra SA to join delegation to D.C. Yeah, well, that just tells you, Maricat, how badly it's going to go. So you're going to send a deep state associated, bought and paid for agricultural organization that represents the interests of large commercial farmers and not every farmer, along with John Steenhuisen, not in the ANC, Peter Groenewald, not in the ANC, and Gate McKenzie, not in the ANC. That's your delegation coming to America? Good luck with that. Yes, you can join military. There's no medical aid. That's not true. There's no medical aid. What are you talking about? It's not called medical aid. We have medical coverage. You have to graft hard to get ahead. You don't have to graft anything. You have to work hard. No, you can't go back on holiday. That's correct. No, Boerewors is not illegal. That's correct. You can have Boerewors here. You can't import it. And Zoll is legit. No, only in Colorado and states like that. What else? Socialism is a slow process. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to catch up to the beginning or the end here. Taxation without representation, that is. What's taxation without representation? Oh, there's. I'm not going to America. The Americans fought for independence against tyranny, in particular taxation against representation. We have that plus some for reserve the same right. DeVette, I'm with you, man. That's your prerogative. That's why I'm telling people to quit cocking on you for staying and quit cocking on people for going. Yes, and Charles, that's right. The Boer have always chosen their own way. Instead of succumbing to the British yoke, they went to Argentina, to Patagonia. They went to Nigeria, or not to Nigeria, to Kenya. Hundreds of Boer left for Kenya. Yep, instead of staying on the Brit. Now, that's ironic because that was a British colony, but that's where they went. All right, I've caught up on all that chat finally. We are at 627 people here, 859 likes. Be sure to hit that like button, folks, if you don't mind.
That was easy.
No, it wasn't. That was a long break there without catching my breath. Okay. African leaders are trying to push for slavery reparations. This is comical, folks. This is comical. All right. So, African leaders meeting in Ethiopia this weekend are to launch a new push for slavery and colonial reparations, but can expect to be stonewalled by former colonial powers, most of which have ruled out making amends for historical wrongs. Now, let me show you this. From the 15th to the 19th century, at least 12.5 million Africans were kidnapped, forcibly transported by mostly European merchants, and sold into slavery. Okay, that's true, but it wasn't entirely. The Muslim slave trade predates that by 1,000 years, taking Africans across the Sahel, the Sahara, into the Middle East and North Africa. From East Africa, Zanzibar was a sultanate of slavery. And there's no discussion of reparations from those countries. And more importantly, Africa wants reparations for enslaving people. They almost invented the concept of slavery. Don't try to wordsmith me there. I didn't say they invented it. I said they almost invented it. Slavery is as old as Africa. The Europeans couldn't go into the bush to capture Africans. They died in droves from malaria and tropical diseases in West Africa. And in East Africa, they died from conflict. Who did that? Africans. Age-old tradition of enslaving the people you've conquered. Africans did it. So you want reparations? Take them from yourself. Colin Sanders, welcome. Easy 12 gainer. Over 2 years, I can't find a job. And pump filter and smelter. Yeah, Arabs started slavery. Well, no, slavery is as old as humankind, Meerkat. But yeah, I got your point. At least I found out the CA license can be converted to FA through the online system. So if refugee status becomes available. There you go. So Marco, you looked it up. See? You did a little research on your own. Well done. Yeah, well, PK, yes. Let's not forget that the British ended slavery. Let's also not forget that the United States created a constitution allowed to end the institution of slavery, which was legal in every jurisdiction in the world when America became a country. If America had banned slavery at the outset, we never would have been a country. If we'd banned it, then we would have been the only country in the history of humankind in the first. You don't have to be the first. Haiti was the first country to outlaw slavery. We were not the first. The Brits were second, I believe. We banned the slave trade, the importation of slaves early in our history. Our first territorial expansion, the Northwest Territories in 1787, which predates our Constitution, banned slavery into perpetuity in the 5 states that were in those territories, which became Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Yeah, those states were banned. Never had slavery. Never. From the moment they were colonized and settled. Never. Illegal, unconstitutional. So, it's white people who ended slavery. Not Africans, not Arabs. We ended slavery. The British patrolled the West African coast and captured slave ships. And the Americans imprisoned people who tried to import slaves to America. So this is what's lost by racists and bigots who want to distort history. But they're too lazy to learn history, or they have an agenda. Yep. Lehan Ostois, the word of South Africa is that the refugees must be from European lineage. Is that true? That is why you probably hear the whites refugee story. It's not true, Lehan. We don't know because the program has not been established. All we have are Donald Trump's comments in a tweet and his, I'm trying to get the actual order here. I've got stuff stacking up here. There's the order. And we have his executive order. We have a comment in a tweet, and we have his comments on the tarmac. All of which would indicate that he's probably talking about people who are considered white Afrikaners, but that has not been proven. And the proof in the pudding is, where the hell are my glasses at? The following. The relevant portions of the executive order, which is the only thing that matters. The tweet doesn't matter. The only thing is irrelevant. And then there's a follow-up message from the American Embassy, which clarifies this. This act follows countless government policies designed to dismantle equal opportunity in employment, education, and business, and hateful rhetoric and government actions fueling disproportionate violence against racially disfavored landowners. Okay? The United States shall promote a resettlement of Afrikaner refugees escaping government-sponsored race-based discrimination. So, on the back, the people eligible are listed as for Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. Now, the problem is that Afrikaner doesn't mean white. Most people who are ignorant of what an Afrikaner is, including some South Africans, think that Afrikaner means exclusively white. It does not. There are coloreds who consider themselves to be Afrikaners, culturally, linguistically. There are Indians, some who consider themselves the same, and there are also a handful of blacks who consider themselves the same. So the embassy followed that up by saying ethnic minorities. So whoever's telling you that it's whites, they're making assumptions. They don't have the facts. I don't have the facts because they don't exist. We're a week into this, and we're still waiting for guidance. Most successful African nation, Mauritius, Cape Verde, Botswana, Rwanda, all of them have been successful with varying degrees. Blitz says, unfortunately, yes, we'll get all the useless Afrikaners. Wow, that's a very disparaging comment. What do you mean by that? Hi, Chris. If people are so concerned that once they're refugees, they cannot return to visit their families, meet up in Namibia, Botswana. Exactly. Sandra Hanekom. Exactly. It's the people who speak Afrikaans. And that would be 6 million coloreds. For sobering context, apartheid ended in 1990. Coming up for 35 years without corruption would be a great nation. True. I can't stand if people are so disparaging towards their own folk. I agree. All right, moving on from that story. UNICEF says that armed men have been raping children in the Congo. Hundreds of them. That's not a surprise. Armed men in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo raped hundreds of children and recruited child soldiers at unprecedented levels, according to the United Nations Children's Fund. In the North and South Kivu provinces, we're receiving horrific reports of grave violations against children by parties in the conflict, including rape and other forms of sexual violence at levels surpassing anything we've seen in recent years. Shouldn't surprise anybody. M23 rebels have seized 2 more towns in the eastern DRC as Felix Tshisekedi heads to Europe to beg for help. Rwanda backed M23 rebels fighting eastern DRC seized 2 towns on their march towards provincial capital. Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi flew to Germany to attend the Munich Security Conference to beg for people to come save his country. Nothing going to happen there. United States aircraft carrier, the USS Harry Truman, collided with a ship off the coast of Egypt. United States Navy aircraft carrier collided with a merchant vessel in the Med shortly before midnight. Harry Truman, a Nimitz-class carrier, had been operating the Red Sea while deployed under U.S. Central Command since December 14th, launching attacks against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. No reports of flooding or injuries aboard the ship. The Navy also said the crash was under investigation. The online ship tracking service Vessel Tracker reported that there were no injuries in the crew of the commercial vessel, the Besatikis M, a bulk carrier built in 2003, sailing under Panamanian flag. It was traveling from Aqaba in Jordan to Constanta in Romania. The collision occurred near the Port Said. It breaks a apparent streak of safety for the Navy when it comes to crashes. It's been a long time, since 2017, since the Navy had one of these collisions. Taiwan's president pledges chip talks and increased investment in the United States after Trump raises concerns. More Trump diplomacy gets more good news for America. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te pledged to strengthen communications with the United States government to address Trump's concerns about the chip industry. And he'll also pledge more investment in the United States. Well, imagine that. Imagine that. Satellite imagery shows that the Chinese Communist People's Liberation Army is practicing attacks on their exercises on U.S. electronic warfare aircraft. Yep, there's an E-2D Hawkeye. Satellite images obtained last month from Western China show the People's Liberation Army apparently practicing for attacks on U.S. electronic warfare planes and aircraft carriers. The company All Source Analysis stated in the report made public on Thursday the satellite image from the desert in Xinjiang in western China shows 2 mock-ups of what appear to be U.S. E-2 Hawkeye airborne warning and control aircraft. Other warplanes have been spotted as targets in the past, but not the E-2. So they are practicing on how to attack American ships in Asia. Former Philippine president is calling for use of bombs to kill senators. Former president rallies the opposition. His family seeks to challenge the congressional majority of President Marcos. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has suggested killing senators in a bomb blast to make room in the Senate for his preferred opposition candidates. Isn't his daughter currently on trial for ordering a hit? Or is she being removed as vice president? My goodness, these people are dangerous. Donald Trump has called India tariff kings. Yep, a title that Prime Minister Modi wants to shred. The world's largest democracy has an average of 14% tariffs on goods entering its market, making it vulnerable to the president's threats. Yep, of all the countries that put tariffs on U.S. products, President Trump says India is king. Wow. That's not good. Modi better figure that one out, or it's going to go badly for India. After Australia banned children illegitimately from using social media in a censorship purge by the big state claiming they know better than anyone else, Indonesia is now mulling a minimum age for social media. Jakarta says they're preparing legislation to protect minors from physical, mental, and moral perils. Really? Well, as a mother of an 18-month-old daughter, Layla Lubis is busy experiencing challenges and joys of new motherhood. Though her daughter only recently uttered her first words, she's already thinking about how the internet and social media could shape the development into the future. I will never give a mobile phone to my child. I will not allow my daughter to use a mobile phone for as long as I can. Maybe when my child is around 6, I'll think about homeschooling. Okay, so you'll never let your child use a mobile phone, but at 6 you will. Children shouldn't have mobile phones until they're 13 at the earliest. Indonesia trying to ban excess social media. Well, this asshat, Friedrich Merz from the Christian Democratic Union in Germany, is threatening Elon Musk in America. This is not going to go well for the CDU. Moscow will face consequences for meddling in German politics, warns Friedrich Merz. The man likely to become Germany's next leader warned that Elon Musk would face consequences for boosting the far right in Germany through his social media platform. What happened in this election campaign cannot go unchallenged, said Friedrich Merz, the frontrunner. The Wall Street Journal, he said that Musk repeatedly called for Germans to vote for the AfD in the coming election, saying that it would save the country. It can be a political response. It can be a legal response. I want to analyze this calmly after the election campaign. So the Christian Democratic Union, whose feelings are hurt because people are banning them because they hate Germans and they allow illegal immigrants, starting with Angela Merkel, to pour into the country to rape German girls in Hallenbats and Schwimmbats and mug and murder. And we just saw, again, 30 more people nearly murdered by a fake asylum seeker that these clowns let in who was declared ineligible for asylum, allowed to stay in the country, and used a Mini Cooper to run down 30 people in München yesterday. Not to mention Magdeburg, what happened there. Not to mention a 2-year-old toddler stabbed to death by these fake immigrants. And the Christian Democratic Union supports this. They are not a conservative party. They are fraudulent, deep state apparatchiks who pretend to be conservatives, and they're not. And they should be exposed. And just like the SPD, they should be driven down, like the Greens, to no support. And you're going to go after Elon Musk for his free speech. Friedrich Merz, du kannst mich mal am Arsch. Du kannst mich mal lecken. Ja, ich habe schon die Nase voll von solcher Sozialisten-Leute. Also sie glauben das eigentlich, wir denken, dass sie konservativ sind. Überhaupt nicht. Sie sind Lügner und Betrügner, Friedrich Merz. Und ich habe die Nase voll von solcher Leute wie Sie. Chernobyl shield keeping in the radiation has been hit by a Russian drone, or so we're told. Radiation levels inside outside remain normal, we're told. I don't buy that for a second. No casualties. Apparently the roof was hit by a drone. Drone strike damaged the structure and started a fire which was put out. Wow, that's not good. Chernobyl should be off limits, man. Chernobyl should be off limits. European Commission, realizing that they're in deep caca because Trump demanding people spend money on defense and quit being freeloaders. Ursula von der Leyen says, we need a surge in European defense spending. Really? About damn time. EU's executive arm will change fiscal rules to allow European Union member states to substantially increase their defense spending without exceeding deficit caps. Yeah, okay. If you say so, sweetheart. The majority of Greenland's population wants independence, according to a person they interviewed. But this isn't a poll result. I do believe that, though. That has kind of been the norm. Greenland has wanted independence for some time, not just limited autonomy. So, Al Jazeera interviews Greenland-based scientist Birger Poppel on the rising tensions stoked by President Trump. There are no rising tensions. In 2019, during his first term, Trump suggested we should buy it. In 2025, he said we should take it. Greenland will get independence because it has the freedom of the world. What? Anyway, so Kim Kielsen, chairman of the Naalakkersuit, Greenland's government, said the territory was not up for sale. Well, everything has a price. We'll see. Venezuela sends 2 planes to America to collect criminal alien invaders. Look at this. Individuals allegedly affiliated with Tren de Agua will undergo a rigorous investigation as soon as they land in Venezuela. Look at that. We're taking back the criminals. 2 Venezuelan planes returned to Caracas carrying illegal immigrants from the United States on Monday following the January deal between the 2 governments. Yep, repatriation flights are well underway, and they came and picked them up. Take back your criminals. U.S. flight carrying deportees of different nationalities arrives in Panama. Panamanian President Jose Raul Molina said the 119 deportees would be moved to a shelter in the Darien region. The first U.S. flight carrying deportees of different nationalities arrived in Panama this week as part of an agreement between Trump and the Central American nation. There you go, folks. These people were from Afghanistan, China, India, Iran, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Turkey, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. Notice none of them were from Mexico. Goodbye. It's working. They're leaving. We're getting rid of them. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal tries to whine about how much it costs. Well, it costs a lot more to keep illegal aliens in this country. A judge has ordered the Trump administration to unfreeze foreign aid. This is an illegal court action, and it will be overturned on appeal. But in the meantime, it stops it. Hannah Fisagi says, Chris, you are misinformed. Afrikaners have been proven by Professor Greff, head of UP Department of Genealogy, in a recent published study to have 95% white genes and 5% non-European genes. Hannah Fisagi, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything about the ethnic makeup of Afrikaners. Are you referring to something I said in the past? I said that people who identify as Afrikaners are 5 to 10%. Those who identify as Afrikaners are 5 to 10% of other ancestry, either Khoisan or Indonesian. I'm not really sure what you're getting on out there. What are you getting on out there? Hey, Kieran Moodley, how you doing there, brother? Good to see you there. I don't care, so I would like to see how South Africans will speak like this to black population in America. I see trouble. Okay, I don't care now. You're a troll. I can see that now. You're being a bigot, and I'm inferring what you're saying is that you're making some asinine comment that white South Africans are disrespectful to black South Africans. Is that what your point is? That does happen, but to claim that 4.8 million white South Africans, now I'm putting words in your mouth, and tell me I'm putting words in your mouth, and I'll back off that. But I don't know what you're on about there, Hano Fisaki. What are you talking about? Why are you jumping in here in the middle of my chat, putting chat, hoping I'll miss it, claiming that I'm wrong? Anyway, Donald Trump has launched a campaign to end the war in the Ukraine and demanding that both of these clowns stop their stupidity. Trump on Wednesday set in motion a diplomatic charge aimed at ending the 3-year-old war that Joe Biden fueled. Trump said he told former President Joe Biden on a sport, you ought to be asking for a loan or security like the oil and gas or something. Anyway, Trump is now making an effort to also end the Ukraine conflict. Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., the son of Bobby Kennedy, who was assassinated in the 1960s, is now the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Vaccine critic will seek to fight obesity and chronic disease while implementing administration's cost cuts. Yep, he was confirmed in a vote of 52 to 48, which meant that one Republican would turncoat, Mitch McConnell. Yep, Mitch McConnell was a turncoat, but the Republicans voted in mass for him otherwise. But he's now the Health and Human Services Secretary. And a stunning development, former Democrat and scion of the Kennedy family is now in a Republican administration. Yep. Department of Veterans Affairs has fired 1,000 employees, most of whom were on probationary status, which is your first 2 years. You can be terminated any time for cause or just because. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has terminated more than 1,000 workers. They mentioned yesterday. Some of them were probationary employees for less than 2 years. At the VA, we're focused on saving money so it can be better spent on veteran care. We thank these employees for their service. This is a tough decision, but ultimately it's the right call to better support veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors. VA Secretary Doug Collins, former congressman from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. There you have it. Donald Trump's administration has directed agency heads to fire most probationary staff, and that's one example right there, the Veterans Administration. Terminations could happen within 2 days. It actually happened the same day. Trump hosts India's leader, Modi, and inks defense and energy deals. Look at that. More deals from the Trump guy. Notably, India's entry into the F-35 stealth fighter program. Wow. There you go. Trump announces reciprocal tariffs to counter global trade barriers, aiming at remedying unfair global practices. Let me give an example of unfair global practice here, folks. When the United States ships cars to Europe, okay, let me just ask this. Does anybody have any idea what the Europeans charge us to ship our cars to Europe? Want to guess? Anybody want to guess? It seems to me that a sales tax and VAT is just a trade tariff on each individual citizen. If true, do you think lifting this tariff would be beneficial? Okay, you're talking all kinds of different things there, Johan Kruger. Sales tax is not the same as value-added tax. Value-added tax, in theory, according to the clowns who come up with value-added tax, means that's part of the value. So you're adding value. So by taxing people, the true value of something they're claiming is what the taxed price is. But we are honest in America. A tax is stolen money from an individual to give to the state to oppress people. That's what a tax is. And that's what VAT is. It doesn't increase the value. It's nonsense. Because if it's valued at what you paid for it with the VAT, then if they tax you on the value, they can tax you again for holding the value. You see it? It's stupid. So I'm not sure where you're going with that. A tariff on individual citizen. No, I've covered this extensively, Johan, but I'll cover it again right now for you. Tariff means different things. Okay, first off, if you impose a tariff, these are the options. The manufacturer can eat the cost of the tariff, or the middleman who brings it in the country can eat the cost, reducing their profitability and their margins. If the margin is high on a product, they can afford to do that. Next step is the manufacturer can choose to raise the price of the good, or the middleman can raise the price to cover the cost of the tariff, and then thereby pushing the cost onto the consumer, which is what you're implying, Johan. That does happen as well. And the third option is that the manufacturer or the supplier can eat part of the cost and pass part of the cost on to the consumer. But it doesn't mean automatically consumers are paying a higher price. In many goods and services with high margins, the supplier will not raise their prices because they become less competitive, so they'll eat the cost to stay in the marketplace. Whatever the case is, it isn't an automatic increase in prices for the consumer. That's a misnomer, and that's dishonest. Not by you, but by those who claim it's the case. I don't care, Googling your friend or just make some Afrikaans friends. What's this? Don, welcome to you. Was there not a white paper from the RAND Corporation advising the State Department the measures to take against Russia? I don't know when that date was, but there's been RAND white papers on everything under the sun, and they're not the only ones to do it. So Johan, I think I've answered your question. Do you think lifting this tariff would be beneficial for an economy? What tariff are we talking about? You got to tell me which tariff, Johan. It depends on the economy. Small economies like South Africa put tariffs to protect their marketplace, and it often works counterproductive. It can work in the short term, though. All right, what's 15%? Afrikaners, according to Professor 95%, that's a summa cum laude achievement for European ethnicity that developed in Africa since 1650. I don't understand what you're at. What are you going after, Hannah? What's your point? What's with this percentage, guys? Oh, the tariffs. Sorry. Okay, I asked the question. I forgot. Okay, let's see what you guys come up with. 25% said Stewart. Veritas said 0%. That's not the case. 20% says Barry DeBeer. 20%, 17%, 40%. Good guesses. It's 10%. So now you know that Europeans charge 10% for U.S. automobiles to come into the European Union. Okay, 10%. What do you think we charge for BMWs, Mercedes, Fiats, Volvos? Well, Volvos are made in Sweden still, but they're owned by the Chinese. What do you think we charge for those cars to come into America? What is the tariff on them? It's not zero. It's not zero. We charge a tariff. They charge us 10%. What do we charge them? Okay. Ah, George knows. There's the answer already. 2.5%. 2.5%. The United States charges 2.5% tariff on cars imported from Europe. 2.5%. They charge us 10%. 4 times what we charge. That's not fair trade. And that's been going on for decades. We've been getting screwed for decades. That is not fair trade. That's why Europe isn't full of Cadillacs or other American brands. Trump orders federal agencies to study reciprocal tariffs. On the final days of his administration, Biden gave $50 million to a self-dealing charity leader. Yep. In the last 20 days in office, he issued $1 billion in grants to hundreds of nonprofit groups scattered across the United States. A slice of that, $50 million, was awarded by the Department of Energy to a little-known charity in New Mexico called the Tribal Energy Consortium. The $50 million grant for a climate program under the Inflation Reduction Act, Biden's signature 2022 spending deal, is on paper an unbelievable windfall for the Tribal Energy Consortium. The charity had posted just $50,000 in revenue in 2022 and 2023, which is bogus. Somebody just gave them money. They didn't raise that. Magically have $50,000 exactly. But now, along with the Energy Department grants, they have $50 million handout. Look at that. That's how they just give our money away to groups that are intentionally formed just to grift. Just to grift. Well, we're down to 525 people, but we got 931 likes. Thanks for that, folks. But European cars, no disrespect, are better than American. No, they're not, Theodorus. No, they're not. No, they're not. First off, American cars, for the most part, aren't even made here. They're made in Canada, Mexico. A large number of them. Yeah, and our brands are owned by foreign companies. Stellaris owns Chrysler. Yep. General Motors is owned in part by people all over the world because it's common stock. Actually owns shares in that company. Knowing South Africa, they will try to stop us leaving with a protest action. We'll see. Dogbreaker's back. South Africa actually makes money by trading with America. South Africa actually pay China. Yeah, no, they have a trade deficit with China and a surplus with America. European cars expense. America can buy a Camaro for the same price as an Audi A3. Yeah, Eric, Trump is suggesting that we have reciprocity, the same level of tariffs, and the world is squealing. Exactly right. How are Jeeps these days? I don't know, Blixum. I don't drive those. They're very popular, though. Drive a Dodge and one of the best made cars I've ever driven. There you go. GM is a disappointment. Government Motors is always a disappointment. Ananda says 7%. It's 2.5. America is the only country with a surplus trade. I don't know if that's true. I'm guessing you have surplus trade with Namibia, with Botswana, with Zimbabwe. I'm guessing that's the case. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. Anyway, that's the news, folks. That took a while to get through. We still got 500 people here, but it's dropping like flies. Where's everybody going? So let me take a look at how many subscribers we got now. 42,146. Things have slowed down a little bit since I came on. People aren't subscribing. I wonder why that is. Do I have to make another video? So the one I did release this morning is at 52,500, and it's doing better than others. So that's cool. Cool. And another 2,300 watched in the last hour. So we should be able to hit 60,000 or so today. That's nice. After a little bit of lull there where I had several videos that only got 6,000 or 7,000 views, now we're back up to the 40,000, 50,000 views again. So thank you. Let's get back to the 100 plus. Intrepid Traveler, thank you for subscribing. Are secondhand cars cheap in America? No, they're not, Mark. Nothing's cheap in America. Nothing's cheap in America. Let's just take a look at that. Secondhand car, we call them used cars. The woke crowd calls them previously owned automobiles. Let's take a look at used cars. Used cars. Okay, I'll go York, Pennsylvania, which is not too far away. Okay, used cars for sale near York. Cars.com. Okay, Thornton Automotive. Let's just take a look at some of these cars, okay? All right, so you ready? Used cars. That's the wrong window. There we go. All right, there's a 2021 Dodge Ram 2500 Limited Mega Cab, $60,000. So $60,000 is going to be a lot of money. $60,000. Let's see, $60,000. That shouldn't be there. It should be here. $60,000. Whoops, clear. $60,000. times 19 is 1,140,000 Rand for a used car that's 3 years old. Yep. Then you've got a Chevrolet Aveo. That's a tiny little car. And look, it doesn't even have a hubcap on the front. They're selling it without a hubcap. $4,000. So there's a shitty little car you can get for $4,000. Now, this looks like a decent buy here, but it's also 13 years old. A 2012 Buick LaCrosse for $10,000. So that's 200,000 Rand. A 2004, a 20-year-old car for $4,500, Buick LeSabre. A Mitsubishi from 2015 for $6,000, a tiny little cracker box. Now, there's a Jeep. Somebody wanted a Jeep for $8,000, a 2012. 2017 Fiat for $15,000. A Mercedes Benz. Whoa, wait a second. $16,000? Wait a second. You mean I could go buy a Mercedes Benz for $16,000? Okay, guys, I'm going to have to take a look at that. That looks too good to be true. 2017? Was it in an accident? I've never had a Mercedes, man. Wow. This is a good deal. I think it's a good deal. Automatic transmission. Whoa, I might have to go buy this car. I like that. Yeah, I've never had a Mercedes. I could have a Mercedes now. How cool would that be? Yeah, I know. That doesn't make any sense. 16. It's got to be a car that was in an accident or something like that, or it was in a flood or a hurricane. My brother-in-law says meat is expensive there. He worked on a farm. Yes and no. It's expensive now because of inflation, but it depends. We have butcheries all around here. You can get meat at a good price. Jeeps are Indian Chinese. No, they're not. You look good driving that. Yeah, I think so too, Tom. That looked nice. And if it's reliable, that would be actually, what is it, 2017? That's newer than my car. I have a 2004 Toyota SUV, a 4Runner, and I have a 2015 Chrysler, which I don't feel safe driving across the country. This is newer. Wow, man. Wow, if I hadn't run for office last year, I could have paid for that. Anyway, don't forget, folks, tomorrow we've got Rugby Ascendant. I'll be covering the URC games tomorrow, okay? First thing I learned was when I was in the States is do not convert it back to Rand. Once you earn dollars, things are not that expensive. Yeah, they're still expensive, Charles. They're still expensive. I can go to South Africa and do so much more for so much less. Anyway, all right, 89 Land Cruiser, okay? Where's your Tesla, Colonel? Tesla, right. All right, folks, 2 hours and 30 minutes almost here on this one. People look like they're dropping off. It's bedtime for some folks, I guess, 8:30. I'm going to wrap it up here, too. The boar went on a great trek, which meant their babies could not be baptized. Cape I've kind of speak. So it's, Devet, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but thank you for sharing. Go Bulls. We'll go Stormers, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. So the Bulls are playing the Sharks tomorrow, and the Stormers are playing Lions, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Motorcycles are cheaper, but they're still, you want to ride around the snow in the wintertime on a motorcycle? Some old cars at some lots, they start at $3,500. All right, guys. Cheers. Take care. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. And thanks for being with us. Let's see if we can push on to 50,000. That would be very exciting. All right. Have a good night. And I really appreciate being here. I'm actually kind of tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. Where are we at here? All right. Now I can't even find my closing video. Where's my closing video? Oh, my goodness. There's the opening. That's not what I want. Okay, I'll do this one to close it up. Here we go. On and on. Cheers, everybody. I don't want to do the on and on. That's too long. That's for nighttime. Well, just the regular closing video. There it is. Cheers.